right, and here we go. We are back with another episode of the Uncivilized Arts podcast, the gaming, not gaming, well, I guess gaming sometimes, movies, shows, podcasts, geek and internet culture podcast, movies, games, geeky things. Had a little break, now we're back. And as you can tell if you're watching this, we're all three of us are here for the first time in what, two? When was season one of Arcane? Like 2 years ago, right? It was a while ago, wasn't it?
3, I think, at this point.
It was a while ago, yeah. So it's the first time together in a long time. But hopefully, we'll be together again, all three of us, a bit more frequently from here on out. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Arcane season 2, and I guess a little bit of Arcane season 1 as well. We're going to get into spoilers, go as in depth as we can, but that's for a bit later on. We'll give you a warning for when that's happening. But for now, before we get into all of that, Celeste, how you been? What you been doing over the Christmas and New Year's break, and I guess a few months of 2025?
Oh my goodness, it's been very busy. Like I had mentioned in a different podcast, I actually got started with my convention season this year already. Had 2 events with my booth, Bunny Over the Moon, and I still cosplayed. Got to meet I think the lead animator for Has Been Hotel and another
Oh,
animator
awesome.
for the However, they're very friendly people. It's really cool. Um, yeah, working on cosplays. Apparently Dante is next, so
Dante from
that's
Devil May
that's on
Cry.
the pipeline. Yes, I got to figure out which one and
Well, there's only
make sure
one,
that I'm warm enough.
really. Oh,
What
I
are you
mean,
talking about?
which?
No, no,
No,
take
no,
that
no. I
back.
guess no.
How dare you?
To be fair, yeah. But there's only one real Dante. The other one was like a fake weirdo Dante.
Okay, but
So,
listen, we got young Dante with like shirtless. We got semi-young Dante with like a harness and his red jacket. We got Dante that's a little bit older with the black shirt, red vest, red jacket. Then we got Mega Daddy Dante with longer hair, red jacket, like something wearing underneath. We got many stages of Dante. So which age Dante am I going to be?
Dante with the original Dante, the one with the white hair, right? He had white hair. He had
Yes,
shoulder length
that's
white
what I
hair.
mean.
Yeah,
Yes.
that there,
But
that
what I'm
that
saying
Dante,
is throughout
that
the,
Dante.
yeah, well, no. What I'm saying is they've showcased his progression of life. So which age of the same white-haired Dante?
Yeah. Oh wait, I mean like the Dante from like
Now,
Devil May
see now,
Cry,
look, you're
like
showing
first
that
Devil
you
May
don't want
Cry,
to use the same Devil May Cry.
the very first Devil May
I don't
Cry. Well,
know,
guess Devil May
but
Cry
yeah.
1, 2, and 3. I think it's the first 3 Devil May Cries he's in, but then after that, they did get a bit weird with the Dantes, didn't they?
Yeah, and then now he's like super old looking, and it's like I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's kind of like old creative, but yeah, gotta figure out which Dante to pull out. That's one of my next cosplays. I'm gonna make from scratch or try to restore some parts because that jacket's gonna suck. And yeah, my son is officially the same amount of time, well, at the time of recording, the same amount of time inside me as he is now out. So he was
Ah,
39 weeks. So he is officially 39 weeks out of the womb. So it's a little weird.
all right. So
He's so great.
tomorrow he spent more time. Tomorrow is when it starts. You just broke even now. Now after tomorrow you start making profit. Is basically what's
Oh
happening.
no, yeah, exactly. It's so sad. And he's so heavy. So yeah, he's about 20 pounds. I don't know what that is for you, Bandit, but he's very heavy.
Let me try
So
and
I'm
work that
gonna
out real quick. All right, while I do that, sweet Bundy, how you been? What you been doing over Christmas, New Year's, and the first couple and a half months of 2025?
Man, just working, and I've been doing some songwriting, of course, and everything, but mostly working. And I'm just dreading work, and I got to work tomorrow. I got to work the day after that. My weekend doesn't come back until Monday, so I'm just thinking about
Oof.
that. I'm trying to go ahead and push it to the back of my mind, but it keeps rearing its ugly head. But yeah, other than that, just yeah, just
Yeah,
songwriting.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the songs we've been putting up. And I think you talked about this a while back, where you said that you write the lyrics, but you have a AI do the voice. Is that still the case? The AI does the
Yeah.
voice in the music.
Hmm.
What? That's so cool. You need a singer? I can do it. Or my husband, or legit, my husband can't sing. So,
Yeah, like
uh,
I can't sing. I cannot hold a note to save my life. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and I found out about it, and people were making like parody songs and everything. So I took one of my old poems and I put it in there. I was like, oh shit, that sounds kind of dope. So then I've been doing that since I think around May or March of last year, so almost a year now. I've been like,
that's cool.
getting into songwriting and because I wrote poetry for a very long time, but I never like really posted it anywhere. So I didn't really uh how can I say evolve or anything. I just stayed in my little spot because nobody else was reading it but me. I didn't really do much different. But now that you hear it in song form, it's like, oh, okay, that sounds awkward. Now that I hear somebody saying it out loud, let me go ahead and rearrange it and everything. So I've been like really um trying different techniques and all that, and just getting really into it and just having fun with it. And yeah,
Okay, is
That
that
sounds
is
so
that what inspired the new?
cool.
appreciate
Is
it.
that is that what inspired the new avatar? The the bunny with the headphones versus
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
dude with a cigarette.
So all right. So funny story. Um, my father, right? So he was listening to some of my songs on YouTube, and then I came out with this song called so, sorry Haze, but so I came out with a song called Never Had a Nigga Like Me, right?
Okay,
Now
all right.
remember my
Well,
my picture was
oh yeah,
Tom
yeah, yeah,
Jones.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, so it was
yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Jones.
Wait,
And
that
my
was Tom
father
Jones in that
said,
picture.
yeah, that was Tom Jones.
Okay, that didn't. I mean, I've seen that picture so many times. I did not notice that was Tom Jones.
Yeah, it was Tom Jones with just some googly eyes or whatever on his face. Anyway, because I came out with that song and everything, he's like, "How you gonna have your picture as some white guy and you release the songs like that? You gonna have people thinking you're a racist or something." So I was like, "Oh yeah,
I mean,
all
yeah,
right."
yeah.
So I put up the rabbit.
A
Oh my
white rabbit
gosh.
though. So
Full circle. Bunny over the moon. Sweet Bundy's a rabbit. Look at that.
you know what? That's a good point. So we got the rabbit for Sweet Bundy. We got Bunny over the moon for Celeste. I don't know. Do I have any rabbit related anything? I don't think I do. I mean, I knew somebody who had pet rabbits or has pet rabbits. I assume she still has them. But that's maybe about it. Um, damn, I'm at the
We
odd one
gotta
out.
find her rabbit
I'm,
rabbit thing.
yeah, I need to do something with bunnies and rabbits, or hmm,
Her
all
hair.
right, or a hare, yeah.
Cause
All
you're
right, maybe
bald.
next podcast, try and do something with rabbits. All right, all right. So,
Easter podcast. Got it.
well, so what was that?
Easter podcast. Got
Oh,
it.
Easter podcast.
Yeah,
Okay,
Easter
actually,
has
yeah,
lots
yeah.
of
Easter's
bunnies.
coming up, isn't it?
Easter is pretty soon.
So yeah, it does make sense to do something with rabbits. Um, All right, so yeah, real quick before I say what I've been doing, 20 pounds is 9.072 kilograms. For those of us who use kilograms, nine point
Oh, I thought
zero
you were
seven two
using
kilograms.
stone. Do you not use
Um,
stone?
I tend to use kilograms. I guess some people, actually,
Oh,
most people prefer use stones. Okay, so it's 1.429 stones if you prefer
okay.
stones.
Yeah, but he's 7 kilograms. Like I should have just said that, but I'm like, dude, he feels like 20
Right, I was about
because he
7 kg.
wiggles.
Okay,
But he's legit 7, but he feels like 20 or like 9 because he wiggles when I hold him. So it's like
you should like
difficult.
curl him. You could, like bicep curls. And you get stronger.
No, I
It's-
squat him. Isn't it insane? I have to pick him up all the time, so I bend down. I have to squat
yeah,
and pick him up.
squat, bend from the knees, keep your back straight.
Yeah, I try. My back needs so much work. Anyways, what are you up to, Bandit?
So what I've been doing? It feels like I'm doing a lot and nothing at the same time. It's kind of weird. Um, yeah, I bought a house last year and it's being rented out. But the when I bought it, there was tenants living inside there, and they moved out. I think about a month or two after I bought it, so I was like flipping out, man. So now I've got to pay for this thing with nobody in it. Um, but then of course I had to get some work done, and so it's been paying out money on this house to getting it renovated, and it's done now. At least when I spoke to the agent who's managing it, they said it's all done now. So yeah, next step is getting it back on the market and that whole thing, and finally someone else can pay for it instead of me. That's kind of where that is. Um, but yeah, mostly just been, I guess, working as well, of course, and trying to knock stuff off, but also been doing. So I run the other channel, Haze's Movie Room, which I've been running for a while. I kind of took a break from it last year, and I got back to it late last year. So I've been doing a lot with that. Been putting out videos exactly every 2 weeks for the last few months. Hopefully, I can keep that momentum going as well. Last video I put out actually was about Grand Theft Auto 6 and why I think it could actually be worth the $100 that it's rumored to cost once it gets released. And no, I do not want to be paying that kind of money for a game. But if I'm being honest, if I'm being honest, I think it could actually be worth it. But yeah, that's in that video. What else then? What else? Oh, you know what? Actually, I've been learning more about sort of finances and like investments, stocks, and stuff like that. So I've been buying shares in a few different companies, and one of the companies I bought shares, and I won't say the name because it might not be a good idea to actually say the name. But one of the companies I bought shares in is a place that I actually used to work. So now I own a part of a company that I used to work at. Yeah. I don't know. It feels like a flex to me, but it's like yeah. I work there. Now I own a piece of it.
Part of the system.
Yeah, I've been doing that. So you gotta try and make smart money choices. You try and make your money work for you. Because one of the things I kind of realized, I guess I realized this a while ago, but I've been trying to focus and put it into action in recent times, is same types of things that rich people do with their money, where you hear about the sort of investments and tax stuff and all that sort of things. The same types of things that rich people do with their money, poor people can do with their money those exact same things, just on a smaller scale. So maybe you're not making like big bucks and getting a £100,000 return on your investments or anything like that, but it's more money than you had to begin with, and that's something. So yeah, that's a lot of what I've been doing, just investments and videos, and that's been me for the past few months. And
travel?
Not in the last few months. I did travel a lot last year. I did travel a lot last year, but yeah, not in the last few months. I went last year actually. Oh man, I went to 7 different cities, and 4 of them are abroad. 4 or 5 of them are abroad, if I'm counting correctly. But yeah, I traveled a lot last year. And it's one of the reasons why this year we have to kind of be like, you know what, let's just save your money. I spend it a lot. I spend it a lot. So I was like, okay, save money mode. Save money mode. But yeah, do you still want to travel? Hit up New York again. Hit up Denmark again. And a couple of friends and I want to go Barcelona. Hopefully we get to do that this year, but that's a big if at the moment. But yeah, still got some, hopefully, inshallah, still got some traveling ahead of me. But yeah, none in the last few months.
Huh, okay.
How about you guys? Have you guys traveled recently?
Right before Christmas, I had to run to the USA for some financial thing.
Oh,
But
right.
that
Yes,
was like,
yes, you did. Yeah.
that was wild. I was only in the USA for like 32 hours. That was weird. Having to
That's a
fly all
long
that way.
flight from Denmark to USA just to stay there for like what, a day and a half? Not even a day and a half, like a
Yeah.
day and a bit, really.
Yeah, it was like super fast because I was like, "Hey, hon, I need to go sign some papers in the US." And he's like, "Well, I can't run the house without you." I'm like, "Okay, well, how long can I stay in the US?" He's like, "As short of time as possible to make sure you get those papers signed and the office is open." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's going to be a really short trip." So I think it was literally like I said 32. It felt like 32 because I was asleep, but it was like Friday to like a Monday evening, and that was it. Like I left that Monday night.
So
So it was like,
you don't see much friends, family, or anything like that. It's just hi, bye, and
just
back to
family.
Denmark.
Legitimately just family. It's so funny. My mom got to meet her newest grandson, right? And she's like, "Okay, I'll keep the baby. You can go home now. Bye."
Oh man, just a little off. Well, hopefully next time there's more time. you know.
We'll see. It's hard. It's hard having two dogs and two kids. So, my dogs are pretty needy despite being some of the laziest dogs. So, there's that. And then having two under two, not ideal. If your family does not live close, do not plan on traveling. I kept telling my family, "Oh no, I don't plan on traveling for the next 5 years." No. There's always some kind of situation where I have to go back and do something, where my husband has to go back and do something. So it's like, oh my God. But yeah, this year we're planning to go to Japan and France. Woo, Denmark.
And France, okay. France is well, I went to Paris. I can't sort of whole of France, but Paris was cool. Japan, I've never been, but that sounds awesome. So I've always wanted to go Japan. It's mad expensive. At least the last time I
No,
looked
it's
at looked
not.
it
Are
up.
you insane? No.
Was it cheap
Right
there
now
now?
is the cheapest time to go to Japan.
Okay,
Because,
because
yeah, like if you look at the dollar to the Japanese yen, it's like $1 is, at the time that I looked, it was like 151 Japanese yen. And that is unheard of because when I went in 2004, mind you, this is ages ago, it was $1 to 110 Japanese yen. This is such an exchange rate. So now it's
all
time to
right,
go to
now it's
Japan.
time to go. When I
Mhm.
ain't got no money at all. All right, cool. Let me dig deep. Let me dig deep. All right then. So
Don't worry. Sell those feet pics.
you know what? I might have to do that. Listen, do you have to have like nice feet though? I mean, my feet aren't horrible. Hopefully they're not horrible, but I mean, I don't know
Okay.
if they're like supermodel level feet. Like, I mean,
No. What you have to do is just make sure there's not like really crusty, dead, flaky skin, and then find the people who would like potentially male feet.
all right. So
Like, just go
I
get a
might need to
nice
get some.
pedicure. Okay?
Yeah, get a pedicure first. Yeah, cool. There's a pedicure place not too far from me actually. So yeah, maybe hit them up. Yo, take care of these. I need to make some money. All right. All right, excuse me, sorry. Taking a sip.
Sorry, Bundy.
All right then. So yeah, let's talk about Arcane season 2. And I guess a little bit of Arcane season 1. So because it's all kind of linked really. We're going to get into major spoilers in a little bit, but before we do that, let's just do a brief kind of non-spoiler opinion overview of Arcane season 2. So, sweet Bundy, what would your non-spoiler opinion of Arcane season 2 be? Before we get into all the spoilers.
I mean, as far as everything that was, exciting about the first one, they just doubled it for me personally in season 2, like down to the art style, the voice acting, the music, the animation, the transitions, and everything. They had this one montage that I can't wait to talk about that I really liked. Um, just everything about this season was just good. You don't really get um too many shows where it's consistent like that, and it's up in itself. So to see the improvements from season 1 to season 2 and everything, and plus the way how they released episodes, the fact that they had like these they had 3 parts, and each part had 3 episodes, it had me hooked. It's one way of like you get to have a binge watch, but at the same time you don't just rush through the whole season. So you have a moment to understand the story and everything, and take it in and think about it for the next week. So yeah, I really liked it. It was very interesting, and yeah, that without going into spoilers, that's the best I can do.
All right, cool. Yes, yeah, sounds all right. Okay, so Lady Orchid, we get it right, Lady
Yes,
Orphans.
you
Finally, right? I got it wrong so many times. What would your non-spoiler overview opinion be of Arcane season 2?
It's really nice to see actual character growth, see them go through the next phases of from season 1 where it left off, how they handle themselves in different situations now that certain events have passed.
Hmm.
And my only gripe with it is we should have had it spread out over a third season. It should be 3 seasons, not 2. Not just like I don't think the pacing was fair compared to season 1 because I could tell that it felt rushed and maybe they could have fleshed out a little bit more. But for what they produced, it is definitely it doesn't triumph over season 1 for me, but it is visually stunning. There's all these little micro animations that you have to go back and rewatch or watch these YouTube shorts that talk about it. But it is so interesting to see how Piltover and Zahn continue their struggles with our main cast. And you get some closure, you might not get some closure, but you'll see.
All right, wow.
That's
Okay,
my
yeah,
that's
yeah.
my non-spoiler.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I see that. As for myself, let's see. I mean, I agree with both of you. I think what I'd add to that in terms of my own kind of personal experience watching it was that it's kind of weird for me because when I watched season 1, it felt like I was a little bit confused while watching it. But at the same time, as much as I was confused watching it, I knew what was going on. Right. It was a kind of a weird feeling, like being confused but know what's happening at the same time. That's how it felt to me. And with season 2, it was kind of like the same thing for me, where it was just I found it really confusing. I was kind of like, I'm not but this time I'm like, on the first watch I watched it twice in the end, but on the first watch I was like, I'm not sure I know what's going on, but I know that I like it. That's kind of my feeling throughout. Like, I'm not sure I'm understanding this story, I just know that I like it. Like, I don't know why I like it. I don't know what it is that's making me enjoy it. I just know that I like it, but I'm not sure I understand it. But yeah, I did watch them again. I actually watched season 1 again as well. And then I watched season 2 again right afterwards. So I kind of just watched them both in a row like that. And yeah, it makes more sense on a second view. So, what you said about, the sort of more things that you might miss and you might watch them again. Yeah, that's definitely my experience. Just, from watching them, watching it twice, and then definitely understanding it a bit more a second time. So I'd say, as my non-spoiler opinion, you might need to watch it twice. It's a good show. Yeah, you said very visually stunning, audio, sound, all of that. It's amazing. But yeah, you might need to watch it twice. So whatever time it is, was it 10 episodes, right? At about 40 minutes each. Double that. That's your that's your viewing time. All right. So now that we've done that, let's get into it. So this is your spoiler warning. We're about to talk about Arcane season 2 mostly, but yeah, season 1 is likely to get mentioned as well. So spoiler warning for all things Arcane. In fact, all things League of Legends, because that's likely to get referenced to.
Oh,
So
wait,
yeah.
wait, wait. No, no, no. Let me make this while you're finishing that. Arcane is now the canon lore for League of Legends. So
Oh
it
yeah,
has
yeah.
changed the framework completely.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
so just FYI.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just that already, or is that a new development?
No, that's new development. They released that statement, I believe, either December or January.
Ah, interesting. Because I thought that was how it was. I figured these are stories that existed in the League of Legends world, and then they're just making them into like fleshed out, you know, show. That's what I thought it was, but apparently
Oh,
not.
absolutely not.
All
They
right,
changed
so
it.
it,
Like I'll be able to go into that a little bit later, but yeah, go ahead. Spoiler warning. Yeah, here it is.
all
Sorry.
right, but yeah, spoiler warning. So yeah, if you've seen it, cool. If you've not seen it and you're okay with spoilers, cool. But yeah, if it's gonna bother you, you might want to come back later. All right then. So spoilers. Sweet Bundy. Let's start with you. What's your biggest take on season 2?
Man, I really liked um just the transformation of some of these characters, not all of them. Like for example, just to get the bad out the way, I didn't really like I think it was part 2 for Vi, where she had some heartbreak with Caitlyn and everything when Caitlyn was going to take the shot, but Isha got in the way, right? Um Caitlyn got pissed off with Vi, attacked her, and then Vi, got all emo. She started drinking and fighting in a club, and I just felt like that was a little bit too much. And I think that's where Celeste is right when it comes to like the pacing and everything. It just came out of nowhere. She's just this emo person getting drunk and is stereotypical, and the one person that has her back, she pushes them away too. And it's like, the imagery was amazing though. The imagery was amazing. So I didn't get mad or anything. I was just like, this is kind of an overreaction. But anyway, the good, Jinx. I love the relationship between Jinx and all these other characters. You get to see all these different sides from Vander to Ekko and even the alternate universe. That was my favorite
Mm,
episode. I love that episode. I can't wait to talk about that part. But um, also getting to see, like, for me personally, Isha, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing the name, but Isha and Jinx, it reminds me of when Jinx was Powder.
okay,
And you
yeah,
have
yeah.
these little moments where she's kind of like, you know, you can kind of see the good in her. And don't get me wrong, I know she's not a villain or anything per se, but she does, like, in wrestling terms, she has a heel turn. So she is a bad guy, regardless of being, turned that way based on all the bad shit that happened to her. But regardless, she's a bad guy, right? But you get to see um her her good starting to win over and starting to take over and everything, like how she, and also seeing her hesitation of like stepping up in a leadership role when all these people are looking up to her as some like figure that could go ahead and break them free and everything. And Isha's the one to kind of push her towards that direction, no matter how reluctant she is to step in those shoes. um the transformation of Jayce and Vicktor and seeing those relationships. Honestly, when it comes down to like uh the writing of this show, people need to take notes of like how to let characters, exist in this, this fictional world that you're creating, and make them be believable to actually care about where they're coming from. This way, when you're dealing with so many characters and so many plots, when you shift to another plot, you actually care about what's going on. It's not like, oh, we're with these characters again. All right, let me look at my phone. The entire time while I was watching, even if I wasn't like, for me personally, I didn't really care about Caitlyn season 1. And in season 2, I actually became invested in what she was going through. Also, because I have to say, the biggest part was uh that montage with how she lost her mother and everything, how she was reacting to that. Beautiful, beautiful, down to the music, the animation, the art style, the colors, and how like uh important figures that with her story or whatever are important to her. They were in color and everything, and that reminded me of Schindler's List with the girl in the red outfit. That's what it reminded me of. Man, it was just, I don't know. I really like this season. I know it has its flaws, but when you're like looking back on it, at least for me, speaking personally, it's hard for me to pinpoint or think of right off the bat the bad in it.
All right. So how about yourself, Celeste? What's your biggest take on Arcane season 2? And as someone who has someone who plays League of Legends, did you spot the bad in this season?
Okay. The biggest bad was Vicktor turning into like Saint Saint Jesus Christ Hex Tech Man. Jesus, I hated that. I hated that. Like the whole, okay, put me inside the room. Yeah, I'm gonna survive that way. Because of that, they gave him a rework. And I don't play Vicktor. I'm not good as Vicktor. But the fact that he was like anorexic, skinny, like Magic Core Jesus is not what I signed up for. I'm like, oh God. Like, do we really want anorexic man like running around and fighting people? That's not necessarily a good thing, you know? So that was a big disappointment that they did that. Um, what else? There was also what is his name? Jace, yeah, Jace's little fall through the future. That sucked. I'm like, wait, okay, mm, time frame. This does not make sense. Like, how long is he here? Like, this just doesn't make sense. What happened to Heimerdinger makes me very upset because I am a Heimerdinger main and I don't know if he's alive, and I'm really hurt. How could they? So that sucked balls. And then, like the whole Black Rose story. Cannot wait. I cannot wait. It's already been tied in with what's happening now in League of Legends. It's Act One called Welcome to Noxus. So they're really pushing this Mel frontline with this other character named Darius. It is not a spoiler. It's always been known about Darius and such. So the Black Rose stuff, absolutely floored. I cannot wait because that sets up the stage for this other character who's like the biggie baddie in League of Legends called Mordekaiser, which they're releasing a new skin. Don't buy it. It's really expensive. Um, but yeah, the whole sisterly bond between Isha, Jinx, and Vi, amazing. I think it
Mm.
really played out in this huge like, oh, well she started it. I'm gonna finish it, and it's like you're welcome. And the whole scene underground was like so good. There was a lot of interpersonal relationships that was like very well explored. Like as Bundy said, Jinx and Ekko's like little Back to the Future alternate reality universe. That was amazing. But overall, I think it was just multiple storylines combined, done really well, but on a poorly executed timeline. And like when I mean timeline, I'm like, I don't understand the frame of reference how long this is compared to like season one when we understood that there was a time skip. So I'm like, is this a few months? Is it a week? Is it a day? Ugh, ugh. I just don't know how long that is.
It's
Like how long was the emo episode 5? Because like I didn't like it. I think that was a very big overreaction, but I love it. Oh my God, was she badass? I love that. Give me more Fight Club. Like I will pay to play Fight Club.
Yeah, I think one of the things about the time skips, I think if I remember correctly, yeah, I think they did this in season 1 as well. And to be honest, I've seen this in other shows as well where they do time skips, but they don't tell you how long the time skip is. You just know there's a time skip, but they don't always tell you whether it's like a month later, 6 months later, 5 years later, And it's like, okay, cool. If you're going to do time skips, let people know how long it's been because it does get confusing, where okay, some time has passed. You're not sure how long. Like you're trying to piece together from what's being said, and then but you can't. It's not always clear how much time has actually passed. So it's just kind of like, okay, so is it months later? Is it years later? Is it, what's going on? So they've done that. I think there was like I think there's like 2 time skips. I can't remember it right now, but there's a few throughout both seasons. I watch them back to back, so I might be blurring them a little bit. But there's definitely, I mean, the obvious time skip in season 1, of course, is when they're children and then they're teenagers or young adults. So that's a bit more clearer. But yeah, when it's like they're in a similar looking age and you just don't know how much time has passed, it's like, it's a bit confusing. Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I'd agree with that. But for myself, I'd say like there's definitely a lot of things I really enjoyed about Arcane season 2. The relationship between Jinx and Vi and how that developed was done really well, especially with Caitlyin being involved, and then the little mute girl Isha being involved, and how Jinx becomes somewhat of a motherly figure of types to without necessarily intending on becoming that figure. She becomes like maybe not so much mother, maybe more like big sister, I guess. Really, she becomes more like a big sister figure to her. And you see some of the flashbacks when they're kind of playing together and that kind of thing, and she's got like the sort of body paint similar to how Jinx has, so she even does in her hair in a similar way. So you could tell she's very much looking up to her. And then that scene where she runs for the gun and shoots Vander, and and that turning point, that was a massive turning point for Jinx, just seeing that happen, because this is like someone that she's cared about, someone that cared about her, and of course Vander's involved as well, like the father figure to both her and Vi. I think the biggest thing I really liked about the season, though, was one of the characters, Ambessa. Ambessa was such a cool villain, and I mean, for me, I feel like in recent times, I've kind of taken a liking to the villains more so than the heroes, And Ambessa was just such a really cool villain. Like she was smart, she was cunning, she knew how to just play people against each other. She knew how, about tactics, and because she was such a great villain, when she was taken down, it made it just that much better, right? Because like you have to, you know what I mean? You can't. If you have a great villain, you have a smart villain like that, you need to outsmart them. So the fact that they were able to do that, use her own kind of tactics against her, in a way that she wouldn't see coming, and yeah, when and it was Mel, of course. Mel had to be the one that did it. That with the, was it the what they call it? I forgot what the name, but that witch thing that she sees in the
yeah, that's the Black Rose.
Yeah, that's black. Yeah. So
yeah,
with her involved.
That character, the witch character, her name is LeBlanc.
LeBlanc, yes, I was trying to remember. Yeah, LeBlanc. Faceless.
No, I'm helping you. Faceless woman, a faceless witch.
But yeah, when they took down Ambessa, I was like, oof. That, I mean, when you have a good villain and they get taken down in such a clever way, that's what I really like to see. When you have a really great villain and they take him down some stupid way, it's like, oh, hate that, because it's like you just got lucky. I mean, you just got lucky. That's all it is. But when you have a great villain and then the hero has to overcome that by outsmarting the villain, I feel like they pulled that off really well with Ambessa. In fact, I actually downloaded League of Legends because I'm like, you know what? Is Ambessa in this game? Let me see if I can play this. I couldn't find her. I think she's in there.
Got released last year. Yeah, she's in there.
I think you have to like get past some training level before you can pick different characters or something, but yeah.
Okay, okay. So I can't believe you never messaged and told me that you downloaded League. How dare you? So first off, yes, you have to go through the tutorial. Secondly, there is both Mel now and Ambessa in the game. Mela has refined her ability, so now you understand how she does it. But Ambessa, she is exactly like how she is in the show. They did reduce the price for getting the champions. You have to buy the champions with this in-game currency called Blue Essence. You earn Blue Essence while you play. So that's how you unlock more champions. But there is something called free rotation. So under free rotation is the champions that you're allowed to pick if you do not own them. So I don't know if Ambessa's in that right now, but yeah, she is
Okay.
legitimately in the game as of like season 1. Like end of season 1, they released Ambessa. At the end of season 2, Arcane, they released her, and that was at the beginning of this year. They welcomed her, so they teased her at the end of season 2, but we have her now in the game as of January last month. Not last month,
Okay.
2 months ago.
All right. So here's what I don't understand then. And perhaps you could answer this because the Arcane, both season 1 and season 2, they're set before the events of the game, right? But if
That's correct.
Ambessa dies in season 2, then how is she in the game?
Oh,
What?
that's not how the game works. The game is like you're a summoner and you summon those champions to the rift to fight. It's just
Oh,
the
okay.
world of
So like,
Runeterra is
I
something
see, I
outside
see,
of the rift.
I
So
see, I
you
see.
are
So
their controller.
I guess, yeah. Whatever happens in the series then doesn't necessarily affect what's going on in the game because you're just summoning. I see, I see. Okay, so I
Right.
need to get
But
past the
the lore
training level.
behind the character. Right. So the lore for the characters, that's still canon now. So whatever happened to Vicktor, all of his past stuff is gone. Anything that's with Arcane, that's him now. Because in the
Hmm.
past he used to be like all super steampunk, like hardcore scientific guy. Like he had glasses, not glasses. He had goggles. He had the mechanical arm. He had a walking cane. He had like floating gadgets that spun around and shot out electricity. Not anymore. Now he's different. So it's like, okay, why? You do not need to destroy that character.
Hmm.
But that's what's happening, and now they're reworking Faceless Woman LeBlanc for a second time. Did not need to do that, but that's fine.
It seems a bit much. I
Anyway,
mean, they could just have 2 different versions, right?
no.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut that down right now. No,
Right.
they cannot do that.
All
Like
right.
they can have skin, that's fine, but no, because that's gonna be a whole new champion. So they might as well just have a brand new champion instead of changing a current champion. But they can't do that because now Arcane is lore, like they are the lore, so they have to change the champion that they have.
Mm, all right. All right.
It's
So
unfortunate, but
Mr. Sweet Bunny, let's come back to you for a little bit now. Who to you was your most standout character?
Oh, Jinx, without a doubt. Jinx went through so much shit this season, like the ups and downs. Yeah, I feel like this season was pretty much about her, and I'm not mad about it at all. She was the standout character from the previous season for me. Um, and I really liked that we got to explore all these different sides of her and got to see her at her lowest and then at her best and be in all these different positions, take responsibility, be the one who was like trying to get through to Vi. Um, her having to deal with the loss, finding Vander again, only to lose him again, and then at the end have to be the one to kind of take him out. Have gaining Isha and then losing Isha, like, yeah, without a doubt, I feel like there's no competition. That's no disrespect to other characters. They had some, like I said, the character building in this season was just great in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I did remember like while you guys were discussing that Celeste specifically, it does get confusing. No, Bandit, you said it was confusing. It does get confusing with how long it's been. Like I do remember being confused about that. But I didn't stay on that confused moment too long because I ended up just getting sucked into whatever the hell was going on. Like I can't wait till we start talking about Jayce because I got some opinions on that motherfucker. But yeah, that
All
was
right,
the
so
man.
no, that's all you could go. What's up?
Yeah,
What
okay.
we got to say about Jayce?
Jayce pissed me off.
Okay.
Jayce
Okay.
pissed me off when he came back. Like that fucking long-haired, tortured soul Jayce. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I understand, but fuck him. Because
That guy
here's the
got his
thing.
legs broken, man. He had to go a long way. Okay.
Yeah, but
Here's the
god
thing, like,
damn, he just came in and he just starts causing shit to happen. And it's like, bro, if you waited like just maybe one more day, who knows what would have changed? Because Vicktor was in the process of bringing Vander back, right? And then also, I guess, and hopefully, you could explain what the if I'm missing out on something. But he was trying something else too, trying to discover a next step of the evolution or whatever, right? By bringing Vander back.
so that one's a little strange because Vander's character is actually a different character in League of Legends. So Vander became Warwick, which he is an experiment of Singe. Um, but he's supposed to be purely like wolf amalgamation, just killing machine. So
Mhm.
him being Vander was like crazy. But yeah, go on. Like no, it's supposed to just be like this wolf thing. The fact that they
Okay.
brought him in was like unexpected.
Yeah. So, and I think that's another advantage that I have is, um, some of the things surprise. Like I remember in the first season, I thought Jayce died. So I remember in the first season, I thought Jayce was dead. So when I saw him in season two, I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Um, but anyway, uh, yeah. So Vander's about to be brought back. This motherfucker Jay shows up right there before it could be completed. If he was just just 1 day later, who knows what would have been different. But he ruins that. He just kills. He doesn't even listen. People are telling him, hey man, everything's cool. And he's like, it's not. He fucking kills the guy. I think his name was Sallow. As soon as he turned around, the guy just learned how to walk again. Like, god damn, man. This guy turned first off, he was a fucking uh what's the word for it?
Counselor. He was a counselor, right? Sallow?
Yeah. The blonde haired one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a slimy fuck. Okay. And he turned his life around thanks to Victor's healing and everything. And guys just in a robe, all peaceful. He's like, hey man, peace be on to you. And then he's leaving away and he gets his head smashed in. The blood splattering on the damn camera. I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, fuck Jayce. I don't get me wrong. I understand where he was coming from. I understand why he did what he had to do. And I understand that Vicktor was the one that told him, hey, you have to go back in time and kill me to stop all of this from happening. I get that. But fuck Jayce. And matter of fact, if I'm on that subject, fuck Vicktor too. That future Vicktor. Because I know you don't like them, like that version, Celeste, but I love that that shit that he transformed into with the crazy space background,
Mask
the
and
cosmic background. I love that shit. I could man, when I was watching that, I was like, yo, I know they're gonna kill this fucking guy, but I love him. I hope he lasts. I didn't know that this was gonna only be 2 seasons. So I thought there was gonna be a season 3. I didn't find out until well after. So I was thinking, oh, this guy's gonna live and he's gonna be the next villain for season 3. Da, 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 da. Oh, man. But yeah.
no, they have way too much in Runeterra or League of Legends universe to explore. Like, if you think he's a cool, like just Mordekaiser. That's all that matters. Mordekaiser.
With a
He's
name like that.
he's the bad guy. Well, one of them.
The bad guy.
It's the two bad guys, Viego and Mordekaiser. Although I'm sweet on Viego. Oh my god, is he so much fun to play. But anyways, yeah. I mean, yeah, Vicktor and Jayce just they let me down this season. But it
I,
seems like
I do have a quick
you
question.
also didn't like them either.
So is Heimendinger actually confirmed to be dead?
No,
Oh, okay.
that's he has not been confirmed or anything. No one cares about him apparently, so it's heartbreaking. Just me. Like what
He
happened?
was trapped in that alternate universe, wasn't he? That's what I just
Yeah.
figured
Yes, he
happened.
was.
Well, remember he had to hit the switch or whatever,
Yeah.
and I think by him being on the switch, that's what destroyed him. Because I don't think he jumped into his old body, like the body of whoever he is in that universe, like Ekko did.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh,
Yeah, because
also
he was
Echo.
dead before Ekko, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Mm, it's heartbreaking.
Um,
My
let's
face, I love him.
actually
But it
let's
would
talk
be
about.
kind
Oh,
of
sorry,
weird to
Kev.
kill him off permanently after you just had like a little gag of killing him off. Because if you remember when Ekko was testing out the time, Heimendinger's head blew up.
Yo, yeah,
He
yeah,
That
yeah,
thing
was like,
exploded.
"What's the limit?"
yeah.
3 seconds.
4 seconds.
So how do you know?
Yeah, trust me.
Oh man, I
I
really
thought it
liked
was
him
very
this
cool though.
season. In the previous season, I didn't really care for him too much. I didn't dislike him, but this season, I don't know what they did for me personally, but I just ended up liking him more this season. I wanted to see more scenes of him.
Of
Yeah.
Echo?
No, not Ekko. I liked Ekko
Heimerdinger?
too, but yeah, Heimendinger.
Oh, it's because he was comedic relief. He was so
Ah,
funny.
yeah,
Just like, oh
true.
yeah, we're gonna sneak in, blah 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 blah. Oh, look at me being like, I used to be a really strict council guy. Now I'm just chill, and I'm fun and I'm wise because I'm an old ass yodel. So
Yeah,
his
you
character
know what?
is
Now that
being
you mention it, you're right. Because I remember in the first season, now that I'm thinking about it, he was all about the rules. He's like, no, we can't do that shit. Do not do it. Stop.
yeah. So that was Heimerdinger. He's like, oh look, I'm helping make bubbles out of my little turrets. Oh, I'm writing songs now. Oh,
Yeah.
look at me having both my little what is it? Minions? No, subordinates learning from me and about Arcane. I'm an old yordle. But he said something really funny. He said the brambleback is in the jungle. That's league talk, like legit league talk.
The what? The prey? What?
The brambleback is in the
Oh,
jungle.
scramble back. Oh,
And
okay.
no, bramble.
Oh, bramble.
So
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah. The jungle's a bit of the map where you don't go to if you're a beginner.
yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm only good at jungles and Pokemon Unite,
Otherwise, you
not
stick to the
league.
main paths and fight the turrets.
Yeah, that's where most of the like fighting happens anyways. It's a lot more fun. But yeah, the brambleback in the jungle means that you can get vision again if you kill this monster, which Jinx and Isha had their little like scuttlebug and I forget. I think it was a real brambleback, and they had them fight against each other. That's also a little homage to Summoner's Rift. It was cute. I loved it.
So, Celeste, who was your main standout character throughout the series?
So for me, I was always kind of watching Mel's progress because, yeah, we're going to focus on Kate and Vi, but I'm like, okay, what is she actually gonna like awaken her powers? We're gonna figure it out. Is she getting back with Jayce? Is she gonna be gay? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I wanted to know because her mom's there, and this chick has clearly mommy issues. So I was like, all right. And then on top of that, this chick got transported to an alternate like spatial plane. And she's like, I don't know how long I've been here, but I'm gonna solve this like Laura Croft. I'm like, okay, why can you solve this like Laura Croft? And then she gets her magic abilities and she's like shining in gold. It's like, okay, how come you get really cool gold tattoos? Like, Are you insane? That's so cool. Before you just had gold makeup, now you have permanent gold tattoo. Like you're just gonna look like a permanent baddie. All right. Like you can't tell me if you were gonna have like magical powers, you're not gonna be like tattooed with something cool. And hers just happens to be like pure gold. Like you're not gonna look some psychotic person like Red Wizards of Fae.
Well, her eyes light up, so it kind of goes.
Yeah, so I was really interested because like I didn't know what kind of storyline. And if you saw her in the introduction, they had like a shadow cast on top of her. I'm like, so does this mean you're gonna die? Like, are you gonna die? So I seriously thought she was gonna die.
Well,
So I
she
was
did
like,
kind
okay,
of
when's
go
it
to
happening?
an underworld type thing where she met, LeBlanc. LeBlanc disguising herself as her brother Kino, and you know, telling her about her mother once fell in love and all that whole thing, and the choices that she made. So yeah, there is a shadow looming over her in some sense.
Yeah. And the reason for that shadow, there's something else deeper that I only found out recently because I was like watching some League videos. There was this thing that happened to Ambessa in her story. She's actually got a side book. Look at this. Ambessa was pregnant and then she was about to die during the Trial of the Wolf. And Trial of the Wolf is from another character in the League of Legends universe called Kindred. Kindred is like literally one of the personifications of death. It's like this little lamb shooty guy and with arrows. And she also has the death part, which is this floating wolf. And if you beat the wolf, you can survive. And Vesta kind of survived, but she only did so because Mel was in her tummy. Like, she was knocked out with Mel. So Mel saved her. So yeah, that's kind of like how she kind of awakened her powers was inside her mom. Kind of crazy. I was like, I didn't know that. Oh. And Vesta owes a lot to her daughter, and that's how she like really threw her to the side to protect her from the Black Rose organization. Hello, Desert.
With Ambessa though, like I mean, they do kind of mention this in the show, but where they say that it's hard to believe that she ever fell in love. And it is really hard to believe that she ever fell in love because from what we see of Ambessa from season 1 to season 2, she doesn't even seem to love her own children. I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't because I get it. Love can manifest itself in various different ways, but it's not like a love that I guess the average person would associate as love. It's a very kind of like, you know, I guess that a loving. I'm training you to carry on the name of our family in the ways that I see fit. And you kind of wonder, like, okay, well, if she did fall in love with a person, like, what was that relationship like? Is that also just two people with very similar outlooks on life and legacy and that sort of thing? Or was it more the romantic feelings that we might normally associate with love? Like, is there I mean, I don't know. Is there anything like that in the League of Legends lore of what that relationship was, or who it was with, and whether they were like going to Rome or anything, or were they just sitting in the boardroom
Oh, I
discussing
didn't get that
tactics?
part. I imagine that she actually loved this person because she's got two kids, you know? So it's not like she didn't just do it once. She definitely like did it twice. She buried the
Right.
bone twice, buried a child to turn twice.
Well,
So
who's older, by the way, Mel or Kino? I think Kino's the older
I
one. Is
think
that
it's
right?
Kino.
Okay.
Yeah, Kino should be.
Okay, then it might be love. Then I was thinking because if Mel came first, sometimes people, especially like warlords like that, they prefer boys. So if Mel came first, they might be like, "Oh, let's go again." But if
Oh yeah,
Aquino came first, then it's kind of like, "Oh yeah, you must have loved him if you went again." So yeah, maybe it was love then.
yeah. It had to be. I just
I
don't.
think
I like after having one kid, it's just like, yeah, if it was like I'm doing this so we have multiple lords of of like our country state. Like that seems. Don't you think you could have like more people just having, I don't know, like kids and then you raise them up that way? I don't know. Seems a bit silly for it to not be love.
Okay. So I think for me, when it comes to standout characters, I mean, definitely Ambessa, as I mentioned before, but outside of that, to not for the sake of not repeating myself, Ekko, because from the first season, he was, I guess, more of a background character. I think it's fair to say, like he had his moments, but he was generally mostly in the back. Whereas this season, although he's not starring in a lot of episodes, he does definitely shine a lot more in this season, and you see more of his development. And I especially liked what they did with him being in this alternate universe and learning about the time warp thing that can put time back a few seconds, and then how that's used later on when he's talking to Jinx, so yeah, I was about to say Kino, sorry, Ekko, yeah, that was definitely a standout character for me, but also I don't know, man, like they've all kind of stand out in various ways, and I think it's one of the good things about the show is that even characters that don't have a lot of screen time, have their moments of importance, where all kind of affects everything and it all kind of comes together. It's like little bits and little bits here, but it's all coming together in this big story. So yeah, they done well with all the characters, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Like minor character, Laura, the guy that was hanging out with Vi, that guy was so cool.
Yeah.
The big
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
with the shield.
yeah. Vanda looking dude.
Yeah. Like Vanda replacement, oh yeah. And then, he met his demise. I was like, that's war. That happened. That sucks. Disappointing.
Speak of smaller characters, actually, what was that girl's name? The one that Caitlyin was with when she had an argument with Vi. It was that, and it turns out she was a plant from Ambessa.
Maddie.
Oh,
Maddie, yeah.
Maddie.
Oh my word. Oh my word. And you know what? It's the type of thing where you look back at it, you're like, you should have seen that coming because she was so like on her. You know what I mean? She was so kind of like kissing her ass and that whole thing. And it's kind of like when you look back at it, it's like people. If you have a genuine connection with somebody, right? Of course you want to comfort them and console them and blah blah blah. But is that it very much, especially when I'm watching this again, I'm like it was fake. It was, of course it was fake. Of course she was putting it on. Do you know what I mean? But I'm myself. I'm not noticing that the first time round. It's kind of like you're looking at it again, and it's like, of course, of course. Because she was so putting everything on in terms of like. Oh, you're so great, and touching and all that. So it was such a put on. Everything was so over the top, and it's like, of course. And even like down to that bit when Ambessa walks to the room and she says something like, I don't need to warn you about the dangers of professional entanglements or something like that. It's like, of course, it was a plant, of course. But yeah, that was done well. That was done well.
Yeah, did you know there was the scene when she's like, I'll miss your warmth, and then she was like shooting her straight at the back of the head, right? During the shot reflection, if you take it down to the microseconds,
Yeah.
one of the flashes will actually show like a blacked out smile. It was crazy. You only get that if you like take the time to watch the microseconds. And they have all of these special little animations throughout the entire season 2. And that was one of them where I was just like, oh my lord, of course. And then, she got her demise. And like, well suited. I was like, yes, Mel, my hero. No, actually, Ekko is the biggest hero. Oh my god. That guy single-handedly, like, was like, the Arcane season 2. Like, oh wow. But yeah, micro things. Micro,
Yeah, man, I was
they
reading
focused
like
on that.
this season cost like $200 million to make or something like that, or it was mad. It was a really expensive season to make. But yeah, I mean, you could see that where that money went. It was money. They did so much. Little details here and there. It was, and just the whole show itself was fantastic. Yeah.
How did you like the music?
Oh, the music was great.
Like
the music was great.
the Jinx song one. It was very unique. I didn't think I would like it, but then it grew on me. The Paint the Town Blue.
Yeah, like a lot of the songs. I mean, I mean, I'm not gonna say I know them. I'm sure they're popular songs, but I don't know them outside of this. But I just felt like they fit. They all when it came up, the music fit, the songs, the licensed songs, all that. It all just fit. And even the main theme that they kept from season 1, was it Imagine Dragons?
Yeah.
For the main theme. Even that, like it just fits. So yeah, I like the music. I like the everything. It was yeah. For me, it just fit.
Yeah,
How about you?
so
Oh, sorry.
in season, really quick. In season, no, first episode, in the first episode of season 1, 2, the new song "Heavy Is the Crown" is actually the new version of Linkin Park, and it's one of their first new original songs, and that's why I brought it
Oh
up.
yeah. Oh, actually, yes. No, I have heard that Linkin Park song. Heavy is the crowd. Yeah. With the new singer. Yeah. I know the song. I know that.
So go on, say, Bundy. What did you think about the music, Mr. Awesome songwriter, lyricist, man?
Mr.
I
Bundy
actually
as
really
a
liked
resident musician.
I really liked the montage, right? The song, I think that's the song Heavy Is the Crown, right?
There's 2
Uh,
montages.
Well, I'm
So
sorry.
there's Paper
The
Tumbler,
montage
and then
is
there's
the
Heavy.
one where they show the Undercity's aftermath of Silco's death. That one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because
So
have the Paper Tumbler is the Isha and Jinx montage.
yeah, not that one, but the other one.
That's Heavy as the Crown.
Yeah, that one was done so well. The song matched so perfectly, down to the lyrics, down to the attitude of the singer and everything. Uh, the instrumental, just everything about that sequence was perfect. And then how it led up to Smeech and everything going on. And I really enjoyed Smeech too. But yeah, that song stuck with me. I don't know why I didn't add it to my Spotify yet, but I've been watching I've been doing the same thing I did when I first watched season 1, when they had that sequence with Ekko after they introduced him, and they had that whole montage of him and his gang and everything to Pusha T song. I've been watching that sequence repeatedly on YouTube, right? So I ended up doing the same thing to Heavy Is the Crown. I just haven't added the song to my Spotify yet, but I love that song, man.
It's such a good song. They actually had last year for Worlds, like the big championship for League of Legends. They had Linkin Park perform that. It was a little
Shit,
energy downer. But Paint the Town Blue was really good. So yeah, those 2 were definitely created for League or Arcane.
that's dope.
So good. Worth
all
putting
right.
on Spotify.
All right, so Mr. Bundy, so I appreciate you're gonna have to go soon. So
Mm.
how about you say all the things you need to say about Arcane season 2, favorite stuff, least favorite stuff, characters, whatever, all the things you feel you need to say about Arcane season 2. Okay,
All right.
and go.
So I'll just go down some of the characters that I really liked in moments with them. So we were just talking about Maddie. I really liked Maddie. I liked how Maddie. First off, a lot of shows they make it a little too obvious that this character is bad, and me, I did not catch on to Maddie being a traitor until it was too late. I don't even think I don't think I caught on to it until they did a reveal, if I remember correctly. But either way, it surprised me. I loved it. I didn't look at her and be like, "Oh, this came out of nowhere. I don't like this." No, I liked it. It made sense. I did not know about that whole single frame thing, but I looked it up, and that shit is creepy as hell. If I had noticed that the first time I saw it, that would have stayed in my head and probably would have been nightmare fuel. But I love how fucking sneaky that character is to just go in there uh, and just be a spy. You know, it reminds me of the spies from like the James Bond type of films, like the old ones. This character was just straight up about business, doing the mission, and unfortunately, fucking hacks came out of nowhere and just reflected that bullet right into her head. That sucked. I didn't like that, but I get it. Ambessa, she had the aura. Every fucking scene she showed up in, just you knew some shit was gonna go down. She was just powerful, amazing voice actor, because that's part of the performance right there. The fact that she has that powerful voice and is delivered so well, you believe everything about this character. And the moment they step in, it's like, yeah, I could see this motherfucker, everything that she's doing and how she survived the Warwick, right? I believe it because of everything from this character. They had tremendous aura. I fucking loved it. I love that character, Ambessa. And it sucked how she went out, but at the same time, it was well done. So I can't even be mad about it. I didn't want to see her go. I wasn't ready to let go. That character is too powerful. What else? Smeech. Smeech is I don't know what it was. I think it was down to the character design. The fact that he had these little ticks about him, the way how he moves the mechanical parts of his body, and the sounds that they made when he inhales that drug, and just how he has this like classic kind of gangster accent. Just everything about him was just, man. I, I could not look away when he was on screen. I was like, fuck, this guy is gonna be fun. And then he ends up getting killed. So it was like, oh. I think, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the fact that they don't make things a little too predictable, at least for me. They don't make things too predictable, and being surprised, even if it's like, damn, I wanted more from that character, that's a good thing, because it's like, I'm not disappointed. I just wanted more. That's all. You did your job. You did good. So with Smeech, them taking him out, that was fun. That was good. And plus it built more on this relationship between Jinx and Saveka or Savika. And I really liked how those two bond too. I like that they're, with Silco being dead, they realized, damn, we really had a family going on here. And they don't have to say it all cheesily, like, yeah, he was like a father to me, and that, they didn't do any of that. You just see it, and how you want to take it is up to you. It's obvious, it's right there in front of you, but you get to determine what it was. I like that. So yeah, and plus just seeing all three of them too, and they had these like nice shots. Um, what else? Ekko. So Ekko almost pulled a Jayce for me when he first went into the universe, but I get it because Jinx is fucking insane. From Ekko's perspective, Jinx is fucking insane. This is somebody that you almost grew up with, and they were, the complete opposite. And now all of a sudden she's fucking blowing shit up. She's zapping everywhere, and she's leaking shimmer, and yeah, I could see why Ekko would be freaking out and throwing shit at her and everything, because he can't, get out of that mindset of survival. But the reason why I say that episode is my favorite is because you see all these emotions that Ekko's dealing with. He's dealing with grief because, one, he lost the guy, that the bigger guy, right? The fat guy. He lost him, and he got to be reunited with him, and he had that moment where he hugged him and everything, And it was bittersweet because it's like you get this moment to to have with him again, but you have to say goodbye because he knows that he has a responsibility of going back and finishing the job. He could have just did the selfish thing and stayed his ass in that universe. It was perfect. Why go back? I know I wouldn't. I don't care. Let me be the villain. But he did that. That's one of the great things about his character. He did the brave thing. He did the right thing. He went back and he fought. He didn't have to. So yeah, I really loved that episode. I loved seeing this other side of Jinx and what she had to deal with, and the fact that she's not. One really good part about that too is it showed that Jinx wasn't just dependent on Vi. As a with Vi in this universe,
Yeah.
she continued to live and still was, intelligent, smart, creative, and everything. She's still this person. She still had that side to her. So it shows how strong her character is. She doesn't have to be this crazy person to be still interesting and still useful and everything. What
On
else?
that note, what did you think of Jinx's glow up at the end? Because like she still became that kind of character in the real main universe.
Yeah. And that was the part that was heart-wrenching when remember when Ekko had to go and save her. He kept having to turn back the time because she kept blowing herself up. That shit was like, I love that scene because it's like he's pretty much trying to talk her off the edge. And he's like having to keep rewinding. He's trying to find the right words to say to her. And this is not just the same person. I mean, I guess that was the point of the scene, is to kind of show you like, yeah, this is a different version of her, but it's still her.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah,
This is the
exactly.
same one that we've been with since day one, and now she's at rock bottom. Now she's got her hair everywhere. They took out her strap in
And
her
everything.
shirt. Like, she's not okay.
Yeah. And when they brought that song back, when she had to go ahead and deal with Vander at the end, I was like, oh man, this might bring a tear to my eye. It was done really, really well. Like I loved it. Um, Another thing too, I wish I saw more of was the Black Rose, because I felt like um they got kind of like just swept aside. Like you brought in this crazy ass. All right, so I know nothing about League of Legends really outside of Arcane, right? And outside the most popular shit. Like I saw Jinx, of course, before. And I played a knockoff version of League of Legends, which is Smite, right?
Yeah.
So I know some references like the jungle part and everything. I know that. But as far as like knowing who the fuck the Black Rose is, that's my point. I don't know. But when I saw this fucking mystical being come out of nowhere and it's just infected her friend and killed her friend like that, that shit was creepy as hell, and I was all for it. That sequence where Mel thought she was talking to her brother, and they had this one freaky ass part where she's talking to him, and then all of a sudden he appears right beside her, and she looks like, what the fuck? And then she actually double takes, like looks back where he was sitting at, but he's not there anymore. So yeah, you got this fucking creature that all of a sudden Mel just comes out of nowhere. She gets a power up and she's like, yeah, this is done. And then she couldn't even save her mom in the process. She just blew that shit up. So I felt that was disappointing, because it's like this character, this is a powerful ass character, or whatever the fuck it is. You just
Oh,
get rid of it.
the Black Rose is an organization, just to really cut in really quickly. Black Rose is the organization that they're seeding in for the next act after Arcane, which they kind of teased on
So
the
that's
League
what
of Legends
fucking
YouTube show.
Raven was about.
Oh, okay. So the Raven is one of the Noxian generals. So Ambessa's like side general friend. His name is Swain. He
Mhm.
is not really part of the Black Rose, but he's from the same place that Ambessa is from. He is
Oh,
so badass. So he watches over everything with his crows, and there's a lot of power with him. It ties in. So the
Man.
whole Black Rose crow at the end, it's all because of Noxus, the country that Ambessa is from,
Okay. So
and that's why right
that's just
now.
one member from the Black Rose that got killed.
No. So that person who got killed, she was just the host. Like, LeBlanc, she is known for having many faces, and she can kind of just inhabit people, kind of thing. So
Oh.
she's kind of mysterious.
So
She's an illusionist, is what I'm saying, because one of her special abilities is she'll split herself into two. And so if you're fighting her, you don't know which one to kill. So you can kill the clone, and then it's just like, well, shit, now she got away.
oh, okay. So uh, that thing that Mel did, that person might not even be dead.
Exactly.
Wow.
Same with Ambessa. They might not be dead. Like Mel's friend is dead for sure, but who
Yeah.
Ambessa killed, yeah, that chick is dead, but that's not the person that she was trying to kill.
Oh shit. So she killed her mom for no reason.
No. Her mom had to go. Like she was not a good person.
Oh, that sucks. Because I because I like them best.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my girl, man. All right. Let's see what else. Oh yeah,
So you
Revik.
didn't really touch
I
on.
wanted to see
Okay.
more Revik and as him and Vicktor. I really liked that relationship. The callback to season 1, like this is the guy that was dealing with that fucking creature, that Majin Buu looking creature or whatever. It was like slimy and pink. And Vicktor was taking care of it, and then all of a sudden the scientists started experimenting on it, and Vicktor was
Oh
like, "What the
yeah.
fuck?" And
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, in the name of science or whatever." Like how they brought that guy back, and he was the guy that taught, that mentored Vicktor, and seeing them like at the, I don't want to say both their peaks, but seeing how Vicktor became this messiah, and now he's like being approached by his teacher again. I wanted to explore more of that. I hope that I don't remember the Revik dying, but hopefully he didn't get killed and they could keep going with the. I know they're not doing the next season, but for whatever they're doing next, hopefully he could come back into that story. Just leave that off because I wanted more of that.
Yeah, they're not doing the next season, but there could possibly be spin-offs. I guess
Yeah,
that
they're definitely doing
waits to be
spin-offs.
seen. Is that been confirmed then? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, they explore because I mean they got connections with Vicktor in the Nether Realm or wherever he went to after Jayce put an axe in him. So they can still communicate with him. And yes, Singe, the guy,
The
the
doctor
bald
dude.
weirdo guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think he dies. No, I don't remember. No, I don't. He didn't die, did he? No.
He cannot die yet because he still has a few more characters to introduce into the storyline.
Okay, great. Because I really like that
Um,
character.
yeah. So when he was trying to save the death thing, trying to save someone from death, it's his daughter, and they introduced her briefly. She is a champion in League of Legends. Both Singed and his daughter are champions in the game. His daughter's name is Oriana.
Okay.
Speaking of
I'm letting
girls called Oriana, so I was looking up because the only League of Legends character I know of before Arcane, was a character called Ari, and apparently Ari is in Arcane, but I'm not sure. Like I remember seeing her. Like I looked it up, and there's some like weird images that I don't know if they're from the game or from the show because they all kind of look the same, really. But
She is not in
is Ari
Arcane.
in the game? She's not.
Ari is in the game. Sorry, my son was like, Ari is 1,000% in the game, but I think people are confusing her with the person who gives shimmer to the counselor that lost his legs. Like, you know who I'm talking about? The person that was talking to Mel, and she was like the really sexy cat woman with the
Oh
ears
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
goofy looking.
Yeah, that's
I
not
think
Ari.
people are
I mean,
confusing. Yeah,
yeah,
but
that was somebody
Ari
else.
is not in Arcane.
Ari's not in Arcane. Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking it up, I was trying to find she was in it, and I saw someone that said she is, and it has some images, but it was like I'm not sure that's from. I can't remember seeing this, but she's not in the. Okay, cool. Celeste confirms
No.
she's not in Arcane. He was just lying on the internet. Cool.
I mean, there's a lot of lies on the internet. Vic is one of them. It's like, so the writers of like Jayce and Vicktor were like, oh, we just wanted it to be like a mentor and student kind of like bond, but because of it being interpreted differently, people are like, no, they're gay love for each other, like, or pansexual love for each other, because definitely, like Jayce has like some bisexualness. It's like first you got with Mel, and now you're with like hugging Vicktor like he's more important. So no, we had that weird segment.
No,
But
I never
anyways, yeah,
got that from
I don't
it.
want to hold you too much.
I mean, not saying that he's not. I'm just saying like the whole thing for me just kind of felt like this is a man who cares for another man. Okay, I guess there was more to it than that. Oh well, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, sweet Bundy, is there anything else you need to add before real life duties take you away?
Just one more thing. It's probably an easy question. So I remember there was that scene where Caitlyin had the shot on Jinx,
Yeah,
and
okay.
this is while Vi and Jinx were fighting, and Isha has a gun aimed at Vi. So Caitlyn had a shot there, and she went to go and take it, but because the kids there, Vi wouldn't let her.
Yeah.
And mind you, Caitlyn at this point still has both eyes, is a sharpshooter and everything. They're not still moving around. She could take the shot without killing or harming Isha. So I guess my question is, should Caitlyn have been allowed to take the shot, or did Vi just kind of like, whether she was aware of it or not, still protecting Jinx?
Okay. I'm gonna answer
Well,
that, and
so,
then
yeah, you answer that,
then I'll
Bandit.
let
Let's
Celeste,
hear
because
you answer.
Celeste, I think Celeste is gonna have a much better answer than I am. So hold
No,
on, mind. Let me.
no, I can always evolve your answer in the way to Vicktor. Let's hear it.
So yeah, let me say this, and then Celeste could give the real answer afterwards. But I'm gonna say no, she shouldn't have been, because even though Caitlyn is a great shot, sharpshooter, all that kind of stuff, even the best shooters can miss, and it's a risk because yeah, they weren't moving at that point, but somebody could move right when the shot's taken, or something like that. So even though yes, Caitlyn is a great shooter, they weren't moving. The fact that there's a child there, it's a risk, and I would say don't risk it, no matter how good a shot you are. Not when there's a child there. So yeah, I'm going with no. I think Vi did the right thing in that situation. So Celeste, what do you think? What's the real answer?
So I don't think there's a real answer, but there's multiple layers to it. It's like one, Vi is completely your love interest. Are you really going to be the one to kill her little sister? Regardless if she's a psychopath or not, you're not like, why are you the one to pass judgment because she killed your mom? Like sure, but she killed a lot of other people too. So really, you're going to be that justice person and hurt your lover? Like she was also in that moment outweighing the cons, right? And pros and
Mm,
cons.
Mm.
So like she still took a shot. She shot off Jinx's middle finger, like, yeah, fuck you, right? It wasn't the damage she wants, but also that would have been Caitlyn's first real murder, like homicide. Think about it, that. Your first real human homicide is your lover's little sister. Like the mental damage that would do not only on you and emotional damage on your relationship is so dramatic. So, do you think your lover would like fix that for you? And in League, like they are still confirmed lovers. So, like that is 1,000% been canon. It's been there. So really, I don't know if any normal sane person would want to kill their current love interest little sibling just because they're a vigilante. Like you're kind of inhuman if you were to take the
Yeah.
shot, though.
I mean,
Is what I'm
there
saying.
is that. I
Mhm.
mean, they kind of talked about it, and she was on board with it before, but then you have to consider that okay, yeah, she was on board with it when they talked about it because she kind of realizes that it kind of has to be done on that level. But at the same time, if she actually did it, like if Caitlyn actually took the shot and killed Jinx, even though they talked about it, even though she was on board with it, having been in a relationship with somebody who kills your sister, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a
Also,
tough thing to
it's
look past, you know.
like talk is cheap. It's also about actions. Like it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to go off the high dive. You go up the ladder, you slowly think about it, and then once you're into the situation, you're about to jump off the high dive. You know, some people chicken out and then they go back down the ladder.
Mm,
So, it could also be one of those like anxiety moments of like, I can't do it. I'm trying
Yeah.
to, but I really just can't. And she's proven this multiple times. Like the first time we saw Caitlyn, she couldn't take the shot. She's like, I had the shot. It's a reoccurring theme with her. She's never grown better for it,
Mm.
which is ironic because her ultimate is like a headshot and she kills you. Like
yeah.
there's no missing it. You either have some kind of reflect or some kind of dodge, but if you don't have something to prevent long range like missile attacks, quote unquote, yeah, you dead.
Mm, it's over.
So there's that.
All right.
But yeah,
What's your for sweet sorry about the
it's okay.
shot and whether she took or not?
Um, I didn't really have an opinion of whether or not she should take the shot. I just found it curious because I remember watching that scene and thinking like I could see pros and cons on both sides, right?
Mm,
Because I'm more of like when it comes to looking at what was going down, I could see why Caitlyn was feeling the way she felt and why she was trying to, go ahead and take out Jinx. She was dealing with the grief of losing her mom, and this is somebody that is pretty much like a terrorist. So yeah, I mean, yeah, take him out. But then there's the other side that you guys were just discussing. She has a more personal connection to this. Should she be the one to actually take this step? Shouldn't this be
mm,
assessed, taken over by somebody else, that doesn't have a personal connection to this person and everything? What and is this the time to do that? This, again, like you said, a kid's involved and anything can happen. But at the same time, is this kid faster than a bullet? But
mm.
I'm joking. But
Oh no, she
oh,
probably will be with her shimmer ability thing.
that is true. But yeah, I just I don't know. I felt like that scene was something that was like Celeste said, had multiple layers to it. So yeah, I really like that scene. Usually I hate scenes like that because it's like clear cut. It's like, why are you stopping it? But I don't know. They set it up properly where I felt like for the first time where this trope is being done, it was done well in this case. So I really like that scene.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
did you really like the scene of when they had the goggles and the gas and they're all in their uniforms? Ugh, that was like a wet
That
dream.
that
It
was
was so
badass.
cool.
That's why I gotta say, like the art style of this show and everything is reminiscent of the Miles Morales movies. How they could
Oh,
go ahead and
Spider Verse. Mm,
yeah, where the artists just go wild, and they could tell their own story, and have their own fun with what they do. Because that scene right there where they're in the gas and everything, remember, at first it looks like it's a creature, like it looks like it's a three-eyed creature or something, but then it's revealed as because they're standing in the thick of the smoke and everything. They got the glowing goggles and all that. That's why it looks like that. That is fucking. I loved it. I love that. And the scene where they came. I don't know if it happens right after. I think it's no. It was another time where they're chasing after Jinx, and Jinx has the puppets strung up, and I think they have organs inside them, if I'm not mistaken. Like each puppet had like some fucking bloody organs inside of them, just hanging from the ceiling. And that's when Vi was like, "Yo, send other people back. I'll handle this." I love
Yeah.
the art in this show.
No, for sure, for sure. It was yeah, they I mean, they knocked it out of the park. Even in season one, like they just knocked it out of the park from the
Yeah,
beginning. Like yeah, the detail, the animation, it was really really incredible what they did with this.
yeah, loved it.
All right,
But overall rating, I give it a 4 out of 5 for this season for me personally. I just wanted to give a rating before I have to go.
4 out of 5. All right, cool.
Yeah, 4 out of
that's a,
5
that's a
because
pretty solid
there.
score. That's a pretty solid score.
Yeah, and it's not, 4 out of 5 is still great.
What's the missing point then? What's the missing 1 out of 5?
I mean, Celeste hits it right on the head when she said there are pacing issues
Oh,
because
okay, yeah.
you know, of course, when you're enjoying something, it's easy to go ahead and forget about the cons of it. The negatives. You spend too much time being entertained and hyped over the good. So that's
Is that
why
a whole
definitely
point
it
though? I
gets that.
mean, maybe half a point.
Well, it's more than just that because more than just the pacing issues for me, but the pacing issues is a big issue because um there as far as like pacing, right, it goes into more than just telling the story. Is about more time for certain characters, more time to develop certain angles and everything, and having bigger payoffs. There was so much more that could have been done, especially if we, some of these characters we're not going to see again. We may see in like a little flashback, but as far as their part in given to the story, a lot of these characters might just be dropped off because they're doing a spinoff. They're not doing another season.
Hmm.
So that sucks. So we're gonna start all over pretty much, like, but it's a continuation, but it's a spinoff. It's like when they had with the old shows like All in the Family, and then they had the spinoff for the Jeffersons. It's like now we ain't seeing Archie and them. They might cameo and everything, but we ain't gonna see what they're gonna be doing day by day, episode by episode. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not part of the main story.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's where pacing, it seems, it's like a broad description, but it goes into so many things that it affects in the long run. So that's why, yeah. But other than that, there were some decisions that I'm like, I wish they went a different way with this and that, but nothing to the point where, like, right off the top of my head, I could say, oh yeah, it was this, it was that. It's just one of those things where I know it's gonna come to me later on. And I'm like, damn it, I forgot to mention that.
Well,
But yeah, I gotta take off a
well,
point.
next time, make more time, and then you can remember that thing that you were supposed to say. But yeah, I appreciate you coming through, dude. And yeah, so it's just gonna be Celeste and I continuing talking a little bit more about Arcane season 2, and hopefully we all be back in the coming weeks, months, or when we can arrange it. But yeah, big up for coming through. Thanks for taking some time out to chat with us.
Of course.
And
I'm
yeah,
glad to be
till
here, and
next
I'm glad
time.
anytime you ask me, you know. Celeste, it was good talking with you again, you know.
Oh,
So
thank you. It's good following you.
so I'll definitely catch you guys next time.
All right, cool. Take it easy,
Take
dude.
care.
All right, y'all.
All right, then let's Ish, what are we doing here? Here we go.
Right?
And making it trying to get it to look all pretty. Almost there. There we go.
The
There
hair
we go.
blue.
There we go. We look pretty now. We look pretty. Awesome. All right. So
Ooh, we
yeah,
like that.
yeah, big up Sweet Bunny for coming through. But now that he's gone, man, that guy, I never liked him anyway. um, but all right. So Celeste, so was there anything that Sweet said that you want to respond to, that you want to elaborate on or correct or counter? Is there anything you wanna say to that?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting he mentioned Smeech, the Underlord, chem baron, because he does chemicals and stuff. Uh, I'm very disappointed that, like, he had a really cool run, right? Smeech, the little Yordle tweaky dude.
Mm.
But it's unfortunate because right after season one finished, shortly after, they created this chem baron called Renata Glass, and they didn't introduce her in Arcane, and I'm very disappointed that they had all these other chem barons still there fighting after Silco's death. And Smeech was like very prominently highlighted against Vika. So it's a little disappointing that they didn't give this opportunity to more characters that could have been in. Granted, Renata Glask is not a great character that I'm good with, but she's not like a standout character because there's other characters that could have came in. Unfortunately, they decided not to. Real shitty. Um, the whole Black Rose thing that Bundy was talking about, that is going on right now. So at the start of January this year, 2025, for those who are listening, they created this new, I guess, I want to call it playway, like a play mode or game mode. No, they just are redoing the way that League is progressing throughout the year with acts. And this first act is following season 2 of Arcane called Welcome to Noxus. There is a wonderful cinematic on the League of Legends YouTube channel where you can kind of actually follow what happens from Arcane. And Mel does go back to Noxus. And now she's actually reworked her powers. She's looking kind of regal. And we don't know about anyone else, but they are working into the Noxian storyline. And with the cinematic, they actually talk about the Black Rose, and we get to learn a little bit more about what they're looking to develop next. So that's there, and Swain is a very big character, as I had mentioned earlier. He is a Noxian general, like one of the top ones, and he does stuff.
Okay.
Lack of better words.
Stuff.
Stuff. Don't know how I can explain it, but Necrit, Necrit, does wonderful things about breaking down like the cinematics, the lore, Arcane, anything that's happening with that. Anything else? I actually really like Paint the Town Blue over Heavy as the Crown. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to feel that way. Yeah, that's really good. Animation wise, um, I felt like it was just everywhere. It was just too everywhere. Like, yeah, it was beautiful, it was pretty, but I'm like, look, I kind of like consistency, and I feel like they just went a little bit too wild with that. That's just me.
Wait, say animation. Oh, with the paint the town. Oh, so with
No,
Heavy
no,
the
no, just
Crown.
the entire season.
Oh, right.
No,
Okay.
no, no. The entire season, there was just like changes in the art style, like consistently. And I'm like, look, I don't mind that as long as it's kind of like Love, Death, and Robots, you know? Love, Death, and Robots was not sequential. It was different artists all the time. So that's why it was okay to have different art styles. but we're talking about one universe here. And then they kept switching it up, where it's just like a little bit of stop motion, then you get back to this cell shading art style, or you get this other thing. It was just a little bit too much, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty, but I kind of want it to be cohesive.
Yeah.
And at certain points, it wasn't cohesive anymore.
Yeah, and I think I see what you mean. I mean, for me, I don't think I minded the switches up in the style from time to time. At least from what I can remember of it, it feels like to me that they kind of fitted in what they're doing. Like, you have like the main kind of style they have throughout. And then when they switch it up, it was usually like maybe it was a flashback, or maybe it was a a memory or something, or maybe it was or just something to kind of show that this is a different thing to the sort of main thing. Kind of like what they do with the Matrix, where all the scenes set inside the Matrix have a green tint, and all the scenes set outside the Matrix don't. So for me, it was kind of like that. And yeah, I guess there's quite a few style switches, but yeah, I mean, for me, I felt it was okay, but yeah, I get it when it's kind of like doing it, and it probably gets to a point where you're like, okay, I get it, dude, I get it.
So I was today years old knowing that the Matrix has a green tint.
Oh, okay. Spoiler. Spoiler. Yeah, the first three Matrix movies. The fourth one doesn't do it, but the first three Matrix movies, when they're inside the Matrix, there's a green tint. It's not like a hard
It's
green,
not blaring obvious, but that makes
it's not
so
like
much sense now.
it's kind of a light green tint, but there is a green tint on the screen when they're inside the Matrix, and then when they're in the real world, they remove the tint. So it's one of the ways you can tell if you just look at the screen. There's like a slight green tint, like you put like it's basically like if you imagine like you put like a green film over something, and you just like looking through it. It's like that,
Yeah, like a lens.
Yeah.
I never really thought of that. I thought it was just like the nitty gritty. I didn't know that. Oh my god, I'm so flabbergasted.
Yeah, it's
and I like the Matrix film.
Yeah, it's a little detail, but well, oh well.
Yeah, like the smile, Maddie smile. Well, little detail.
The first Matrix movie is good. The rest of them are
meh. Wait, are you sure you didn't like the rave sex scene? Like, was that so necessary? I don't know.
Yeah, when they just like a hardcore orgy or something, like just all of a sudden everybody's having an orgy. He's like, all right, cool.
Thanks.
Machines can attack us anytime. Well, I guess to be fair, it makes sense. We put it that way. The machines can attack us anytime. You may as well.
Yeah.
We may be dead in a minute. Might as well have an orgy. Why not?
What did you think about the Isha sacrifice?
The sacrifice. Yeah, it was I mean, it was as necessary as it was unnecessary, right? In a sense that she didn't, strictly speaking, need to do it, but somebody did, and it wasn't going to be Jinx or Vi, because as much as they know it has to be done, they're just too close. They're too close. And so it's kind of like, okay, somebody had to do it. And with Isha just kind of seeing the situation and how much, Jinx has meant to her and everything that they've, kind of been through together. And she just kind of runs for it. It's sad, right? Because, I mean, I don't think they mentioned how old she is, but she can't be more than like 7, 8 years old, something like 12. Okay. Yeah. 12 years old.
No.
So
we don't know if she's older than 12. I'm saying that's the maximum that I would allow.
Oh, right, a maximum. Okay, but yeah, she's a young girl. She's a young girl that's homeless. Presumably her parents are no longer around, right? You kind of assume that she's just kind of found. So she's most likely been through a lot herself. like that we're not told directly, but she's most likely been through like herself, being in the underworld, being in in Zorn, and living on the streets like that when Jinx found her. And then finding Jinx, and then Jinx being like this big sister, mother type figure to her for that time. And then, so when you see her run for that gun to hold it up, it's like, I get it, but oof, you know, oof. But but I guess that also had to happen because it's that moment that changed Jinx back into powder, right?
Right.
Because even though she was kind of teetering on changing, changing back, she was still always Jinx. But it was that really changed Jinx back into powder. And even, down to like just surrendering. And then deciding to try and blow herself up to atone for her sins, but then, Ekko coming to stop her. But even then, it's like you got to the end of the season, or the end, I think it's the last episode, where she's holding on to the glove when because Vi goes down to supposed to like kick Van off the ledge or something, but she couldn't do it. Again, she's too close. But then she ends up getting dragged, and then Jinx, Powder now jumps down, and then she's holding on to the glove, the bitch mittens as she calls them. Wolf Vander is holding on to a Powder, and then it was like that moment where she's like, okay, this has to be done, and she takes the ball out the thing, and then they just both drop, and they both fall. And it's like, oh man,
it's just so hard because like someone has to be the one to let go and move forward in the relationship, which I realized that was the thing in Jinx's and Vi's relationship, is that they're both sisters who can't move on, but so one of them has to leave for them to move on. And despite their best efforts of trying to move on separately, it doesn't work because at a certain point they're butting heads, they're not moving on properly, like it's too toxic. So it's just like, oh, I didn't get the closure I needed, I'm just blocking you. So if you don't get the closure that you need, you can't really actually move forward properly. It's going to be stagnated or stunted until you get the right kind of closure. And the worst part is that was seen in multiple areas of both Vi, Jinx, and Warwick Vander, because Jinx and Vi could never stop Warwick, so it had to be Isha. And because one of them was the sacrifice, that was kind of like the name of the game. So then Jinx coming back as Powder to be like, I'm always your sister, I'll always be there. She's actually accepted the fact that someone that it has to move forward for the other one to do it. Unfortunately, it had to be the younger sisters because it started with Isha. Isha changed Jinx, and then Jinx was going to change Vi, and that's what happened. And it's just kind of like, interesting that the little sister has to be the sacrifice for the big sister to be the better person.
Yeah. It's also sad that Isha, sacrificed herself to try to kill Vander, and then she didn't even kill Vander. Like that was, I guess she did really, but they ended up bringing him back, and so it's like, man, like this girl just sacrificed herself to end all this, and they could bring him back, and now Jinx ends up sacrificing herself along with Lobo Vander, and sort of, like you say, sort of Vi can sort of move on. But yeah, it's just a whole lot of like, oh man.
The other part too is she kept trying to like blow herself up the entire season. And it's like until the very last episode, it's like, yeah, you get to finally blow yourself up with Vander. Or do you? There's a lot of speculation that she's alive still, and she's actually on a blimpie to exit Piltover.
I mean, since they're not doing a season 3, excuse me, and there's only going to be spin-offs from here on out, I hope they don't answer that question officially, because certain things I think are best left as a mystery.
Yeah, like the end of Inception.
Yes. It's best left as a mystery. Like, let people talk about it, let people discuss it, let people have their theories, let people go through, frame by frame and look at all the things that was said and done and the bits in the background, and this frame had this section and the light was this way, so that means that let people do all of that, but never answer it officially. I feel like if you can do that, then it keeps the show alive longer than if you, because if you once you have an official answer, once you have like an actual official answer given, it's like there's no conversation anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, that's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay,
it's like, oh, she's alive. Okay, all right, well, that's it then. She's alive. That's it. But if you don't say anything, if you keep people guessing, keep it ambiguous, fit certain things like that, keep it a mystery, let people discuss it, let people have their theories, but never answer it officially.
Yeah, I think that's much nicer when it's just left ambiguous. It's much better, so people get to guess. Also, there's a speculation, really quickly. There is a speculation that alternate universe Powder came to the memorial in the beginning.
The memorial, of the
so
when the presidents, yeah. Okay, interesting. Let me see if I can find that.
That one's crazy.
I think it'd be cool if Savika got a spin-off. And here's the reason why for that. She was kind of a badass character, but she actually loses a lot. Like, she loses to Vi, she loses to Jinx. She loses, I think, most fights that she's in during like season 1 and season 2. But she's a badass character. Like, the way they present her, even when in season 1, when it looked like she was going to kill Silco, and she's standing behind him and the blade's coming out, and she just kills the other guys in the room instead. And he was like, was he tempted? It's like, yeah, not for those weasels. So she is kind of a badass, really interesting character, but she seems to lose a lot of fights. So I feel like if she had a spin-off series that focused on her and, where she came from, how she met Silco, their whole kind of running together, basically her story before, Powder comes into or maybe a little bit of Powder, I suppose. But basically, because Powder meets him quite young, isn't it? So basically, I'm saying like her story before, this time skip in season 1 where it's older Jinx. Like, I feel like if they had a spin-off that focused on Savika during that period, that could be really cool.
I'd be okay with her afterwards because, like, she's part of the council at the end. Yeah. I think I'd be cool if she any kind of form of her.
But yeah, it's just kind of weird that they do that sometimes, where you have these characters who they kind of present them and as like a badass, as kind of thing, but then they losing all their fights. Like, she's getting her arm torn off. She's like, come on, like, when are you gonna win a fight? Like, it's not making sense. It's not adding up. You can't be a badass and keep losing. Like, and to Powder as well, or Jinx. I mean, losing to Vi, okay, I can buy that, but losing to Jinx, I don't know. I feel like Savika beats Jinx in a fight. Savika beats Jinx in events, Vi, not so much. I feel Vi beats probably most people. Vi beats probably most dudes, I reckon. But nah, she could take.
I mean, we saw in the underground, she definitely beat a lot of dudes up. Did you like her emo phase?
I mean, I didn't mind it. it didn't bother me as it bothered the Sweet Bundy, but I don't really think nothing of it, to be honest. I mean, it was just like
Oh,
kind of a short section of, she's going through some stuff, and I get it, it's she's processing emotions and things that she has to deal with and come to terms with what she has to do next, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I didn't mind it. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me.
yeah. I feel like I think this is one of those things now as a mother. It's like I think that's when she needed some kind of guidance, and she didn't have any guidance because she had Vander, but Vander died. She doesn't have her parents. So who could she really talk to? Who could she trust?
Hmm.
She didn't have anyone except the smarts on her head. Her smarts on her head say, punch shit. So she's like, I'ma just go punch shit. I still can't answer anything. I'ma punch more shit and get drunk because that's the only thing that helps. And it's like, that's really sad. And I think it's true too, because like there's so many quote unquote teens, we don't know how old they are, just lash out because they don't have proper guidance. And even Caitlyn, it was kind of sad because her proper guidance was Ambessa, and she even gets mad. She's like, "Oh no, she was feeding me poison." So it's just like, yeah, but it's proper guidance. It was a good guidance, no, but it's still the guidance that Ambessa wanted.
Hmm.
So I mean, even at a certain point, we have Jinx somewhat getting guidance, quote unquote, from Savika when she goes to like Silco's statue, was it? Or Vander's statue? Someone's statue, and she's talking to him as if he was still there. And it's just like
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
another like hidden I guess theme is that we look up to people and for strength. And that's what Jinx became. Jinx did become a pillar of strength. Like she went to the jail to break down others people, where we got the one famous line, "You can't be Jinx. What's with those pants? My pants?
Oh
What's wrong
yeah.
with my pants?" I was like, "You can't be Jinx. No way, circus pants." And
Yeah, I would
like,
say
okay.
that bit seemed a bit odd though, because like you'd think they'd have an idea of what Jinx looks like or how Jinx dresses and that sort of thing. Because like I mean, they had like wanted posters around, right? So you'd think they'd
Yeah,
have an
but that was
idea
only
of
like some plus top. So
yeah.
there's speculation behind that because her pants are not common in Zon. And a lot of the trade routes to Piltover or something came from Blygewater, and Blygewater is where all the pirates people are. And so when Jinx had to go on the ships to make sure that it went right, she stole pairs of pants from someone that she really liked it from, and that's why her pants look like that. It's not necessarily Zon style or Piltover style because we have not seen
Oh,
anyone else with that kind of clothing. So
oh, that's an
she stole it.
interesting detail. That's
Hmm.
an interesting
I
detail
only found about it.
for the league fans. I do like that sort of
Yeah,
stuff though when you have these details that like hardcore fans would spot, even though I'm not gonna spot it because I'm not the hardcore fan. But the point is, I like when they have details like that. That is like, oh, well, actually, it makes sense because trade routes, and it's like, oh, all right, that's deep.
I didn't
That's
know
deep.
that until like last week preparing for this. So also, it's just like random stuff is being thrown at me on YouTube Shorts now. So I'm like, okay, if it's league, sure, let's hear it. It's like what, 2 minutes? Okay, I'll listen. What do you want?
That
And so
scene
that's why
though.
that. Hmm.
Oh, so yeah, I was gonna say that scene where they go to the prison, and she's pretending to capture Savika, and then as she's standing by the desk, and Bessa's walking by, and of course she's got the mask on, so you can't see Jinx's face, but she's walking by, and there's like that look that they kind of give each other, and then she kind of walks by, and it's not really thinking of it, but later on, um and Bess is kind of like she's thinking there's something wrong there. There's something wrong. there's something wrong with that sentence, and it kind of clicks with her eventually, you know, that who that person was, you know. But I thought that was really cool, like how they did that. The initial walk past of there's that glance of, and then then later it's like, no, wait a minute, no, no, no,
Yeah, right. Just that like idea moment of like, wait a second, wait a minute. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. I also really liked in the intro, like they changed it up quite a bit, right? With all those new parts. But like Jinx is basically Les Miserables, bleh, Les Miserables, Miserables?
Miserables.
Is that how you say
Les Miserables.
it? Yeah, Les Miserables. And she's swinging the flag, and it's just like, oh, she is bringing a revolution. And how cool was it? The Zonites were fighting with the Piltoverians at the end against Victor's army. Like, there was so many people where it's just like, oh, they give those minor insights of like, oh, this guy was a piano player, but now he's fighting. Oh, this was a dad, now he's fighting, you know, to save like the future of mankind. It was like, oh God.
Yeah, that was an
And that's
interesting political development in the show as well, because you had like, you know, Piltover versus Zorn for a lot of it really, but then it's them having to put their differences aside because now they have a common enemy, you know, and you know, with Ambessa and the Noxians looking to sort of pit them against each other and kind of take over by using Caitlyin and that kind of thing. So now they have a common enemy. So that was a kind of an interesting development as well. I thought that you have like two sides that have their own issues and then having to put their own issues to side and say, look, this is actually bigger than both of us. And then at the end of it, yeah, with Savika joining the council, so it's no longer Piltover versus Zorn. It's now Piltover and Zorn, and how they can work together, at least hopefully. Right, hopefully. You know, I mean, I guess we're never going to find out how that story unfolds, but it's kind of like it took an external threat for Zorn and Piltover to realize that they should be together and they should be united and they should be working and they can be united and work together. But it actually took that external threat. So I guess in essence you could say Ambessa was the good guy.
quote unquote, yeah. The
Say.
main baddie of the season was actually Vicktor. Like Vicktor could have prevented all of that if he never just gave a rune to Jayce when he was young and all that other stuff. That made me really mad, by the way. That made me very mad. Um, I thought that was going to be someone else, but it's kind of like the whole Piltover merger, like hanging out, being buddy buddy now with Dawn, fighting against the common enemy was so Game of Thrones to me. Don't you agree? Did you
I
watch Game
didn't
of Thrones?
see Game of Thrones.
Okay, so for those who are listening, I'm referencing the end when the White Walkers are coming, and all of the North and Daenerys, Jon Snow are like, okay, we need Cersei's help too. Let's see if she's gonna back us up. So it was basically humans against like zombie ghost white zombies.
All right.
That frozen zombies, yeah. So that was the whole kind of thing. Except this time it's mutated people. Also, that would that terrify you? Wouldn't that terrify you if like some Messiah Jesus person was like, okay, let's evolve, and then you turn into that sentient robot looking thing? Like, wouldn't that terrify you?
I mean, yeah, that if I saw that would be pretty off putting for sure. Like it's not a normal thing you see in a typical day. Right? It'd be like,
It's like, oh.
something's going on here and I'm not sure I just want to stay and find out what it is. Like, that's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah, because like if you're part of the connection with Vicktor, he's like anyone that is willing will evolve, and it's like Okay, but what happens to the people that don't evolve? Do you drag them along like grapes on a vine? Like what are you doing? Because only certain people evolve, not everyone. And when you did evolve, that was freaking scary. That was scary shit. You can't tell me that wasn't scary shit. Like I didn't know we were starting to watch a horror show.
Hmm. Yeah, he was able to just get a hold of people as well because even like was it Mel after they fought with Ambessa and that whole thing and they just got taken by the Vicktor link, so he was able to just like get people. This dude was he
He
has
was on a
some
mission.
mad power.
Oh yeah. He's like, I am Jesus Messiah, Vicktor. And I'm like, I don't like you. I absolutely do not like you. Like, before you were just like, oh yeah, look at this crazy rune stuff. We're studying this. We're gonna evolve Hextech. And then it just it just went so weird and off the rails of like, oh, now I've activated the arcane rune or something. I don't know. It just got so wild. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But also those little blue balls, the Hextech balls, or I was kind of disappointed that they didn't make more of those. It just felt like limited to the ones that Jayce already has. So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why can't you make more of those hex crystals? And like, yeah, it just didn't make sense on that part of like, why can't you just keep making more? Why can't you make more of those for soldiers? And then you wouldn't have such a hard time fighting the Vicktor clone people army link
No, can they
people.
make more though? Because where did Jayce get the heads take balls from?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. That was established in season one that he had like a few of them, and then
Yeah.
Jinx took them. So then he had a few more, but it was like only four more. So he had one in his hammer, two. So there's one in uh Caitlyn's gun, two in Vi's gauntlet. So that's four hextech crystals right there. And then Jinx has one in her gun, and then she used one to explode on Vander. So that's six. And I think we saw a total of nine. But that's the weird part, right? Like
Yeah,
we
because
should be able to make more hextech crystals. If they were just
yeah.
able to make more hextech crystals to fight against Victor's army, I don't think more people had to die.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think because I'm not sure, or did they explain how Jayce got the crystals? Because I mean, because we see Jinx and Vi when they were kids robbing them in the beginning, but I
Yeah,
can't remember. Did they explain how Jayce got a hold of them?
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
That's what bothers me. I really don't remember. But I remember he had the rune on his
yeah,
as a bracelet, and then it becomes
yeah. On
attached
his
to the
uh,
helmet.
yeah, wrist.
But
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't define a hextech crystal. That's not exactly a rune. Yeah. So that's why I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have this army covering, you're enlisting all these people, and then he's like, I will get back to making weapons and armors and okay, that's cool and everything, but there are literally items that they showed in the game um that was in Arcane. And I'm like, you could have had this item there. Why didn't you have this item or this item? And it could have helped like I don't know. I think it would have been a cool Easter egg and a fight sequence if they had a little bit more of the items that were hex tech powered
Mm.
from the game into the show.
Yeah,
Also,
I'm just.
what did you think of that ending point of like Jinx coming to save everyone in her giant hot air balloon contraption from her room?
Yeah, yeah. With the them exploding puppy, I don't know, puppet type things, just throwing them out the head. Yeah, yeah. I mean that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. That was after Ekko talked her out of not blowing herself up, reset the clock all a bunch of times. But yeah, and it was still kind of cool though when she shows up, and then you know you got the music changing as well, or you know she's playing some music from a Hot Ebony might be actually. But yeah, no, that was a cool scene. That was a cool scene.
I was so shocked. I was so excited. I was a little like really taken back the fact that she cut her hair. I was kind of like, oh, this bitch gonna die. Like, okay, why did you need to do that?
Speaking of hair,
I don't
actually,
know.
like her hair was like there's that scene where she's lying down and she has her hair out, and it's like, how much hair does this girl have? Like it's just everywhere. Like not that is not manageable. Like if you got that much hair, that is not manageable. Surely you are like I know she hasn't normally tied up in a ponytail, but it's like there's no way one ponytail
Yeah,
is taking up all that hair. Like that's a not that thin ponytail. Maybe like a thick 20-inch ponytail maybe, but no, that she has a thin pony or two. No, she has two ponytails. I think actually, she has two ponytails. But even still, like, there's no way those two ponytails is that much hair. That is way more hair than those two pigtails. Nah,
her hair
what's
is
going
down
on?
to her ankle when it's braided. It's very long because when you braid your hair, it shrinks a bit.
Yeah, but like, it's not. I mean, that much hair is not those two long ponytails. I mean, I get like it's going to be a lot of hair because those ponytails are long, but that was way more hair than those two ponytails. I'm sure. Like, I ain't no
You
hair
don't think she was
expert or
ripping
nothing,
her
but I'm
hair
just
out?
saying, like, I'm not believing that much hair is just those two ponytails. Granted, those are long ponytails. I appreciate that, but I feel like that much hair is at least 4 or 5 of those ponytails. Like it was a lot of hair. My non-expert
That's fair
opinion
enough.
on the hair.
Yeah, because even with some of the cosplayers that I see who make that wig, I'm like, it is definitely not as long as they depict it in this scene. It is not that crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I think you guys messed up here. It is not giraffe long. Can you imagine? You have hair like as long as a giraffe.
I used to be tripping over all the
No,
time. We scraping along the floor and getting dirty. You know,
maybe that's
going
why
through
Jinx
dog
tied it
poo
at
and all
the
that.
end. That way
Yeah.
no one pulls on it. People love to pull on her braids.
I mean, you can use to whip people, so that's a pretty cool thing. If you like tie it up like that, you can just whip people with it. You got a weapon with you at all times, just like grab your ponytail and be like, whoosh, like Bianca Belair does, just like whip people with her hair.
Catwoman except with your own hair. That's a character in Guilty Gear. Her name's Milia Rage. She attacks with her hair.
Whip my
Or
hair back
Sindel,
and
you
forth. I
know,
whip my hair
she
back and
attacks
forth.
with her hair too. Sindel from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, is that one of the new ones? I haven't played Mortal Kombat in ages, actually. Damn, I'm so
No,
far
it's
behind
an
on
old
that.
one.
It's an old one. Oh,
Uh,
I'm just wrong then.
yeah, I
I'm
think that
just
was
wrong.
Annihilation or Mortal Kombat 3. Yeah, because Mortal Kombat 2 was the introduction of Kitana and Molina. So it was Mortal Kombat 3 where they introduced Sindel. Surprise.
All right.
Such
Okay.
trivial knowledge.
Um. There's well, yeah. I was gonna say. So yeah. One of the other details I liked. I don't know if I call it a detail, but I something I noticed, and I thought it was done another a cool thing to add as well is that Vi is quite big. Like you don't fully notice it when she's wearing like the jackets and stuff like that. Um, but the parts where she's got like a tank top on, and especially where she's standing next to Caitlyn, she's quite big, like muscular, big, broad shoulders type big. And I thought that was really cool because it you know she's a boxer, she's fights, she's very physical, so it makes sense that her stature is going to represent that. And it kind of it stood out for me because like I think a lot of times in shows, especially like animations and stuff like that. Like even though you have like a character who's supposed to be a boxer or supposed to be this, like they either have them burly, right? You either have them as a really burly person, or you have them as a skinny person, and you're supposed to believe that they can, you know, box, big strong men or whatever. But I just felt like what they
Yeah.
did with Vi, the balance in her, her height, her muscular, all that. It actually made sense for her to look like that. She's not going to be necessarily burly and big and like a bodybuilder, but yeah, she's not going to be a skinny girl either, right? Like, so like, yeah, I feel like
Oh
they
yeah.
that's it's a detail they got right in my non-expert opinion.
Yeah, I thought that was like it's really interesting too because they're like extremely tall. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Um, but I thought it was nice that like they explored different body types in that sense. Because Vi in the game when she was first introduced, she was just, oh, look at me in a corset with giant gauntlets. I'm a cool
Oh, okay.
chick. Yeah,
a lot different
now she's
then.
not.
Mm.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now they've really fleshed out her character. She's not just a hot kind of chick punching and going places. So I think that was really nice. I was
Mm.
like, oh, I love that. Yay.
So with that then, because you mentioned that now that they're doing Arcane, the Arcane law is going to be the official law for the games as well. And I know you said there was a few things you didn't like about that with Vicktor, but would you say overall it's a better choice to have the Arcane as the official law, or do you think it's best to have the game law separate from Arcane? Like how do you feel about it as an overall?
Honestly, it is so much better that they do have Arcane to be it because there's just too much content. So we have the books, we have the X comics books, and then we have the game, we have game writers for the online content because you can read like other storylines now and the character profiles, and it's just a whack. It's just so much content to learn about. It's like, oh my goodness. I think it's just so much easier to um swallow it, quote unquote, if you are just
Mm,
like, oh, yeah, that's just too much. Like way too much. Thank you. That's enough. Like it's just easier to see it if it's all under one spot. And it's nice because we want to watch Arcane. Like it is visually pleasing. We like the characters. We want to know what's going on. We want to be more immersed into the story, you know? So one way to do that is actually to see the world and not just having our imagination paint it.
mm.
So
Yeah, no,
I
that
like
that
I
ma-
like it.
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense because especially when you have something that has been around a long time, a lot of things been written about it. It makes sense to just say, you know what, let's just streamline everything and make it easier. Because otherwise it gets. I guess it's kind of like what they did with Star Wars when Disney took over and they made the controversial decision of saying, look, all the books and all the things, comics and stuff that happened before, no longer canon. No longer canon, and a lot of fans hated that decision. But the truth is, it makes sense because like there's so much out there, like trying to keep up with absolutely everything, and even now it's difficult for them to stay consistent within themselves, but it's just even more difficult when you got to consider, a book that was written in 1982 or whatever that nobody read. You gotta, like you gotta factor that in as well. So yeah, I think there's a point we have to just say, you know what, let's nix it, start again, or yeah, this is all done. So yeah, that
Oh,
makes sense to
a
me. You can
1000
still read the old
percent.
stuff though, but which is cool because I think it's they're not, I mean they're not getting rid of the old Arcane stuff, are they? So it is still available if you want to read it. Is that right?
I'm not sure about that. They might have started changing things. Because at a
Oh,
certain
okay, that
point,
sucks then.
you can't find the old stuff. Because when they
That sucks.
reworked these characters, they completely took away all the old stuff.
Ah,
So maybe not.
that's yeah, that's one thing I don't like when they do these things where they have a new version of something and they just get rid of the old version. Because I get why you might have a new version of it, and I understand the whole thing about not the old one's no longer canon, this, that, and the third, whatever. But it's I feel like the old thing should still exist as like a legacy for the people who just want to experience that particular story, even though you understand it's not connected anymore or not canon anymore. It's still something to as part of their history that I think people still sometimes want to go back and experience and just be in that world for a little bit. So when they take it away, yeah, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, like what can you
Hmm.
do about it? Not much. Something?
Well,
Maybe?
indeed,
No?
it's the digital world, isn't it?
Oh well.
The digital world. We signed
Yeah.
these. Well, we agree to these terms and conditions. So like, yeah, what can we do about it? They can. Yeah, it's their property. Their you know uh uh whatever their right. Ah well.
Yeah,
Oh well.
exactly.
Hmm.
So, did you have any characters that you wish did a better job?
Any characters that I wish did a better job? Oof. Well, let's see. I'm not sure. I think they all did well within what they were doing and what they were supposed to do. Doing a better job. I don't know. Like I'm not sure I can fault anybody. Not really. Anyway. Like like that means, of course, none of the characters are perfect or whatever. I get that everyone's gonna have their flaws, but that's part of you know humanity and part of life. Not everyone's gonna be not you're not always gonna get it right. But in terms of like just flat out getting it wrong or being incompetent or anything like that, like I'm not sure I can fault any of the characters. I feel like they all did as well as they could in the circumstances they had. At least how I'm thinking. I'm not sure nothing stands out to me as just like some characters like they would blatantly do something stupid that's so unnecessary.
Mhm.
Like we have that in some shows sometimes, and nothing stands out to me like that. Or I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Maybe I'm just like blanking or forgetting something. You might say something that triggers a memory. So, what do you think?
So me personally, I really wish like they focused a little bit more on things. Like they could have done a little bit better. A little bit more on like, oh, why did you do this to Vander? Like, oh, okay, so your pursuit of science is this much. When do you have like a limit? And it's like, do you not realize like what you've done? Or not necessarily just all of that, but it's like it could have been more screen time for Singed is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
The mad scientist Doctor Do, because he is the mad scientist Doctor Do. I think that's really cool, and they could have really gone more into it, and then they could have shown a little bit more of his lab because he was shown in season one a little bit, and they
Hmm.
evolved him a little bit. But I'm like, is it enough? I don't know. I think I think he deserved more.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you could have got more screen time, I think, for sure. I mean, I don't know if I could fault him in terms of what he did with his screen time, but yeah, it could have been cool to have a little bit more to know about him. But I did think of one character actually that maybe could have done a little bit better, and what I mentioned there actually, which is Savika. Like I said, she was a badass character. Um, but yeah, like it would have been cool if she won matches. Like she should have at least beaten Jinx. As but yeah, that's maybe my one character. I think yeah, you could have done, but you could beat Jinx in a fight. You don't have. I don't believe you have a good reason to lose to Jinx. Come on, I mean, unless
yeah,
I guess
plot
Buffet
armor.
Jinx has the what do you call it, the hex thingy, whatever. But Nah, come on. You could punch up Jinx. You could slap her about. Like, come on. You should not be losing to a child. Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, not a fan of that one. Could have done better.
Yeah.
That's
Go to
okay.
some more push-ups.
Can she? She's
But
only got one arm.
yeah, one-arm push-ups.
I guess
One-arm
that's fine.
push-ups. On a wall, maybe. Start on a wall, then work your way down. Start on a wall,
Sure.
go to a table, and then finally go to the floor. One-arm push-ups.
Hmm.
And some squats.
One arm. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I mean, she could lift other things instead of push-ups. She could have just started lifting tables or other things.
Yeah, do that too. Like, yeah. Get some weights. Up and down. But at work, that's going to be a lot quicker now. She's only got one arm. You don't have to. She has to work one arm. Don't have to bother the other arm. Spends less time in the
Yeah,
gym.
exactly.
No
So,
excuses.
I mean,
No
that's not
excuses.
the other part too. She was like legit ripped. Like she was a nice, thick, like strong looking woman. She had like kind of abs. She wasn't flabby, you know. She wasn't gaunt. She was legit like buff in a sense, you know. So yeah, she shouldn't have lost. Ever since she lost her arm the first time, it's like okay, now she's lost a lot.
Mm,
Why? This is sucking.
like, yeah. Still though, that scene with Silco in season 1 when he's sitting down and all those other gangsters are there thought that Safika was going to kill him, and you just see her raising the sword behind his head and just wondering, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna do it? And it's like, and she kills other guys. That was a cool scene though. That was a cool scene.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was you tempted?
But let's see.
Not for a rat like him.
Another thing too is like the gas scene, like Caitlyn learning about like the Kiriman secrets and stuff. I didn't realize it was gonna be like that. When it's just like, oh yeah, your mom left you this. It's like, the hell is that? Is that a makeup lipstick? What is that? Turns out it's like, oh, you can now learn like why Kirimans are on the council. So,
So what was the Kierman secrets?
mm,
I thought I've
so they
blanked on
know
that.
about the ventilation tunnels, and that's how they controlled the gas because she, Caitlyn learned the Kiriman secrets.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
they were the ones to help build Dawn, but because Dawn is still like under a fissure, the fissure is acidic or toxic, it'll kill people from the gas and such. Like
Uh,
that's why it was so important for her to get the key, and that's why she was also a councilman. Also, how crazy was it that Ambessa was like, okay, Caitlyn's gonna be the person in charge, not me. Like, wasn't that crazy? That threw me in a loop.
yeah, it was manipulation, wasn't it? Like she I mean, I think how she said it, try to put herself in charge, it would have been like obvious of what she was trying to do, but she put somebody that she thought she could control, and especially knowing that she had a plant in there, right? So you know,
Hmm.
using like the death of her mother to try and get her to, you know, effectively do what she wants her to do, you know, try and, you know, use that as a way of I guess taking her out of her own mind, you know, and making a decision based on sort of emotion rather than, you know, thinking it through in logic and seeing what's actually going on. I mean, I think that was what you know, it was kind of what her plan would have been, or something along those lines. So it's all manipulation, and even like, man, that bit though when she calls Caitlyn to the front, and it just all sorts, you know, that, and she's just looking at her like stone cold in the eye.
Like it's gonna be you.
Yeah, and then everybody starts doing it.
The whole like bump, bump,
Yeah,
bump,
yeah.
bump. I'm like,
That
what
was
is this?
cool, man.
Attack on Titan? Get out.
Yeah. But it was a cool scene though, because like it just kind of like worked, you know. It just kind of worked. And I'm not sure why it works. But to be completely honest, like I said, like, the show did kind of confuse me a lot of times when I was watching it, but it just worked. It's one of these things that, for whatever reason, it just worked, and it looks cool. It felt right, you know, and it just worked.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think it was just that primal Noxian, like we're the government and we think you're our leader, so we're gonna make noise. So I think that's something too. Also, the little Noxian soldiers were Zeds. I think that's what they are. I was like, Zed! That's a character. It's pretty cool. He's just a little ninja assassin dude. I hate him. I hate fighting him. It is not fun.
Noxian Ninja.
Basically. Like he goes in and out, disappears, throws like shurikens. So yeah, he sucks. I hate him. Fighting him sucks. He's a jungler.
I'm trying to find what he looks like. Why am I blanking on his?
ZEDD, League of Legends.
Was his name ZB?
No, ZEDD. No, that's no.
Oh wait, I think I found him. Oh yeah, I found him. Zed. Okay, yeah, yeah. Looks like a knight
Yeah.
with blades and metal. All right, cool, cool, cool. Can you play as him in League of Legends? Well,
No, yeah, you can play as him in League, but I'm not good as him. He's quite difficult. And then people would be like, "Oh, get better, get good, punk." I'm like, "Listen, I didn't tell you how to like, I don't tell you how to live your day. Don't tell me how to live mine."
I mean, you know, people are like that on online or whatever, and in these communities, oh, just get good, just get good. I mean, on one hand, it's like, okay, true, yes, you need to get good at a game in order to get past a level or get past a character or a boss or whatever. You need to get good at it. Yeah, that's not an untrue statement. But like, it also,
Hmm.
it's a very oversimplified statement as well, because it's not that you don't know you're supposed to get good at a game. It's like, you know, people got things to do. You know, like, not everybody
Oh
gets to
no,
sit
everyone
on
has
a
to sit
game
there
for like
playing.
8 hours a day, right? You know, some of us gotta go to work. You know, you gotta look after kids. It's like people got things to do. It's like you can't just be like, oh yeah, let me ignore my all my responsibilities that I'm supposed to do. Let me just ignore all that and just sit on the game so
Mhm.
I can get good at it. You know, is it no? Man can't do that. Man can't do that. Like, I mean, some people out there get to live that life. Good for them, but most of us don't get to do that. So it's like, yeah, it's when people are like, oh yeah, just get good, just get good. It's like, yeah, I understand you're supposed to get good at a game, but it's like it's a very oversimplification, and you know, I don't know. Maybe one day when they're a little older, they'll understand that. Like, people got to do things. You know, people got to go places. People got to pay bills. People got to take care of things. You know, people got to take care of the house, take care of the whatever. You know what I mean? Like run errands, go here, go there, get this done, all that. You know, people. Uh, anyway, anyway, that's a side ramble. A little
Yes,
side ramble.
I mean, all the side rambles.
Speaking of getting good though, I mean, so yeah, I did, like I said, I did download League of Legends. In fact, it's the second time I've played, because I downloaded it years ago, and I played a little bit of it then. And I
Okay.
downloaded it again recently, just after watching season 2, and I logged into my old account, which is still there, which is really cool. But yeah, I haven't gotten very far. Like I'm still, even now, I haven't gotten very far. Like I'm still on the, I guess the beginner, what do you call it, the training
Tutorial?
level, I think they're called, or or those bits. And there's like, I guess, a bunch of stuff I'm supposed to do before I'm allowed to play it properly or something. But yeah, I played like, I don't know, an hour of it, I guess, hour and a half maybe. And yeah, it's confusing to me. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I get that you have cooldowns, because it's similar with World of Warcraft, where certain moves have cooldowns. But like, it just feels to me like if I go to click on a character, like I click on the sword icon comes up, and I click on that because I want to move the character, right? But then when I move the character, they start attacking those little minion things with that, if they're nearby. I was like, okay, cool, I understand that. But then when I want to attack the big, turret monster, person or whatever, and I click on that, then they run towards that character, because now I'm moving the character. And then because I'm moving towards the character, I'm getting a hit by these. I was like, bloody hell, man, what am I doing? I'm just
Let me
confusing
simplify
myself
it
right
for
now.
you.
Like,
Okay, let me simplify it for you. You
all
have
right,
lanes,
cool.
right? Down the
Right,
lane will
right, right,
come these little minions, right?
right, right.
Minions will try to go beat the other minion on the other side, and then if they survive, they'll try to hit down the tower. Now, if you have no minions, and you, the player, using your champion, try to attack the tower, you're going to get hurt by the tower, and that's a lot of damage. Don't do that. Make sure there's minions. That's why it's very important for you, as the player controlling the champion, to kill the minions. So once you kill the minion quote unquote wave will be gone. So then your minions can get to the tower, so you can attack the tower safely. Make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. But then the tower has the attack range, so I need to be outside the attack range when I'm fighting the minions, right? But when you go to attack the minions, sometimes you move within the attack range of the tower.
Yes, now that can happen. So what you need to do is make sure that the minions are also inside the range of the attack tower. If they
What, my
are not,
minions?
yeah, your minions.
Okay.
Because if you step inside the attack range of the tower, it'll automatically target you. But if it's preoccupied attacking the minion wave, you don't need to worry about that. But if you attack the opposing champion underneath the tower will become aggressive and kill you first, not the minions.
So I can't attack the champion inside the attack range of the tower, even if I've got minions inside the attack range.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because it wants to protect its champion.
Okay. So I need to be outside the attack range of the. Then that means I have to draw the champion outside the attack range, but then the champion has no incentive to be outside the attack range of the tower. Then, right? They're gonna want to stay inside the tower. So I need
But
to
that's
be
why you
maybe
want to kill the other. Yeah, but that's why you want to kill the minions of the other wave, so you can push your wave forward faster. And then once they're there, they can either try to attack the minion wave or you. Honestly, as long as you're getting more damage onto the tower first, it's better. Clearly, you really want to destroy the towers first, because then the entire wave is clear to get to their base. And that's really dangerous.
also, even though there's a champion there, I should concentrate on the tower.
Not necessarily. It really just depends. Like, if your skill set is not that great, focus on the tower. If you think you can kill the champion under tower, great, go for it. But I never recommend that.
Okay. All right.
Because
So
one,
if
I'm
I
not
destroy
touching.
the
Right.
So if I destroy
Go
the
on.
tower doesn't respawn, does it?
No, it does not.
Okay. So I could just walk next. I'll just walk past that tower, and then if there's
Uh-huh.
a champion there, I could just fight the champion, and the champion won't be protected by the tower. I think I'm understanding it now. Okay.
Yeah. There is one specific character named Azir. He's from a land called Shurima. He's a god. So he is the only one that can create a tower back in a fallen tower spot. But it's a cooldown thing of like 10 minutes. He can only do it so often.
That's Sharia.
It'll also, Shurima, yeah.
Oh,
It'll
Sharima.
disappear out of after a certain time too. So it's not going to stay there the entire game.
Okay, I mean that's fair. You gotta balance it out. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
So the whole thing is,
maybe I'll turn it on again and try and see if I can figure out this whole tower thing.
yeah. The whole thing is kill the minion wave. Once the minion wave is there at the tower, attack the tower. Once the minion wave comes back, keep attacking the tower until your penultimate minion. So not the last minion, no, your second to last minion. If there's a champion there, go ahead, run away, go underneath your tower, and then go back to base. Or just find a safe place to go, Because that might be in the bush, or that might be like running away for a while, as long as you're safe.
I see. Okay. Appreciate that. Speaking of that though, because you mentioned like lanes, and I know they mentioned lanes in Arcane. But in terms of
hmm
like towers and they mentioned jungles as well. There was a reference to the jungles as well. But in terms of like towers and maybe other sort of aspects of League of Legends, is there anything else that's mentioned in Arcane that makes sort of references to sort of aspects of the game?
Um, Not that I can think of. Honestly, not that I can think of. Because like the the whole gas thing is kind of like fog of war to me, but at the same time, I'm like, uh, I can't really think of anything else other than what I've already previously mentioned.
Okay,
Mm,
no, that's all right. That's fair. All right, but yeah, one of these days. Well, maybe not one of these days. I mean, I should hopefully have a little bit of time in this week. But yeah, turn on this League of Legends. I still got it downloaded. I haven't deleted it yet. Um, not yet.
You have to
Maybe
update
after
it.
this. Oh, it's one of
You
them
gotta
ones.
update it.
All
Yeah,
right,
it's free to play, so they update the game a lot.
all right. Oh, I guess I have to update it and then see about So attack the minions, then the tower, run away from the legend, go back to my tower, and then try and fight the legend under my tower so that I'd have more of an advantage. But then if you're fighting against people, I'd assume they just won't follow you to your tower though. So I
Sometimes,
guess
sometimes they'll raw dog it and take the tower shots and try to kill you, and they do it, and they're good.
is it a pay to win kind of situation with League of Legends? Because I know you can buy characters and buy various things, but is it like a pay to win type thing, or is it or is it all stuff you buy is that just pure cosmetic and everything about it is just skill?
Oh, it's all cosmetic. Like they do not have anything where it's pay to win like Diablo or something. Like it's like if you want something nice, it's cosmetic. That's what you pay for. If you want to unlock the champion faster, yeah, you can pay for that. But honestly, you don't need to. They actually reduce the prices of the champions now so that it's very affordable if you play like consistently.
Mm,
So
okay.
yeah,
All right.
it's just about like the time you put into it.
So you
And
reckon there's
there's
a
a
lot you
lot
can do
to
for
it
free
too.
now?
No, there's always been a lot you could do for free. I just play a different game mode. Like I don't play Summoner's Rift. That's the main map. I play this one called ARAM or Murder Bridge, which they used to have a skin for Arcane season 2. It was really cool. But I didn't like it. Anyways, it was cool, but I didn't like playing on it. It was just too complicated. But I play something called ARAM, which is all random, all mid. So instead of having 3 lanes and a jungle, you just have one solid bridge and then 4 turrets, and that's it. And then it's like you don't have to worry about, oh, here comes someone down the water. Oh, here they come. Oh, we gotta worry that bot lane can't take care of itself. It's like, nope, it's just constant fighting. It's different, but it's fun. I like it a lot.
All right. All right then. Let's see. With Arcane, let's see if there's anything that we still need to talk about. I think we've talked about a lot of stuff so far, like music. We've talked about a lot of the characters. We've even talked about Heztech, the Noxians, the visuals, potential spin-offs. Well, not potentially. I mean, I assume they've been announced now. At least the way you guys were talking about it sounds like they've been announced.
Slightly. Like, we know where the direction is heading now, because that's what they're focused on. It's like cinematic-wise within like the League of Legends universe. Now, making a full-on series, I don't know if they're doing that right now. So we'll see.
Okay, let's see if we can find out if anything's been announced real quick then.
Okay. Oh my lord. Like, some of the cool stuff that I would love for them to explore is kind of like the Star Guardian line, or this like Battle Academia line would be cool. The Space Odyssey line would be cool. And these are different thematics that they have from League of Legends, like Runeterra. So it's still the champions. They have the same abilities, but they're just like, oh, now we're space explorers. Oh, now we're like My Hero Academia students. And I just think it would be really fun if they actually dive deep into some of it, because they've hired some serious names to do serious music videos and art production, and it's amazing how wonderful these things are. But it's not a full-on series. It's like, but that's what the fans want. People want that kind of content. People are craving that, because a lot of people just don't want to play League anymore, or they want to be part of it, but they don't want to play League and or other things. And like Riot does have other games such as Legends of Runeterra, which is their card game, where they have teamfight tactics, but it's just like, but I don't want to play games. I want to do something else. And so it's difficult.
Yeah, I just searched online, and yeah, they have announced quite a few spin-offs, at least 3 by the looks of it. But yeah, Arcane have confirmed some spin-offs. Or Riot Games, rather, I should say, have confirmed some spin-offs. Focusing on different regions of Runeterra, including Noxus, Iona, and Demacia. If I'm probably pronouncing some of those wrong. Demacia. The Noxus one I think could be really cool, because I definitely want to know more about Ambessa and her whole thing, especially with the whole thing about who she fell in love with. I think that could be a really interesting story to tell. Like this hardened warlord, who.
Oh, you need to watch Act 1, Welcome to Noxus on YouTube.
Oh, is it in there? Okay.
Yeah, so
right.
No, that's not in there, but you just need to watch that, because it's cool.
Cool. All right, fair enough. Act 1, Welcome to Noxus.
They do have the book for Ambessa, and it's literally called like Ambessa Chosen by the Wolf, and that will probably answer everything that you want to know about her. Sadly, I don't know, but I think maybe you'll get your answers there. They do have more media on her out, so and more than other characters. So that's saying something. She is quite the feat. And from what I understand, she's actually a fun champion in the past.
All right, looks like I've got
Are you watching
some
it now?
homework. No, I just
Yes,
searched
you
it to see what
did.
comes up. To see what comes up, but yeah, no, I won't watch it now. Let's welcome to Noxus Bite Marks featuring Taya. Wait, I think there might be a music
Yes.
video actually.
Yeah, don't play it now because then sound wise, that would get
Yeah,
copyright strike.
yeah, we'll leave that. Maybe check that out later. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, no, there's. I mean, there's a lot you could explore with a show like Arcane because I mean, it's it's based on the League of Legends and it's already a really in depth lore that it can draw from. And even though now they can say, okay, what we're doing now is going to be new lore, so to speak, but it's still you're drawing the influence from what they did before with the games and the spin-off games and those things as well. So there's so much you can draw from, and even just with what they did with Arcane season 2 and the spin-offs they can create within that, like there's so many directions you can take this. You can have completely new characters, of course, but you could also go into like characters like Ekko, for example, because like Ekko doesn't get as much spotlight as some of the other guys, but he's clearly an important character, and of course he shines. He has his moments of where he shines, especially in season 2. But there's so much you can do with a character like Ekko, like telling more of his story from when he was a kid to how he became, with the fireflights, and
I
leading
thought it was
them.
Fireflies.
Yeah, fireflies. Close. Look for the flame. No, that's not what they say. I can't remember what they say anymore. But yeah, how he became, going from that little kid to the leader of the fireflies. That's a whole story of what happened there as well, because he wasn't with them when they stole the Heztech crystals. So when that whole building blew up, he wasn't there. So like we really don't know what he was doing, who he was with, where he was hanging out, who his parents are, if his parents were around. We know very, very little about him and his story. So that in and of itself can be like a whole 2-3 seasons of telling that tale. I will say this though, like with any show, whether it's a spin-off or whatever, I mean 2 seasons is probably a little bit short, I'd say. Like what they're doing with Arcane, 2 seasons is probably a bit short, but I do feel like shows need to know when to end. Because I feel like that's one of the gripes with some shows sometimes that I have, is that they go on too long. They have like a really good idea, a really good story, a really good development and everything else, but then there's a point where the show should end and they keep making more, and it just
Oh,
doesn't
I
go well.
agree.
It just doesn't go well. Like even if you have, because it's not even about whether you have good stories or good shows or good acting or good this or good that. You can make great shows after that point. That's not that, after that thing. You can make great shows, but the thing is that this is where the story ends, and anything after that just feels, no matter how good it is, it just feels, why are we doing this? Like can't
Yeah,
so
that's like one of them being is definitely Rick and Morty. I'm like, did you really have to continue? Like, there's so much.
yeah, just let it go.
Like,
Let's let it go. And I
exactly.
get it, when it's popular, you want to keep making more, keep making money. But once once you got to a point in the story and the story has its conclusion, then it's just, let's let it go. Just let it go. And then yeah, you could do spin-offs, things like that. But as far as this main story goes, as far as that bit goes, end it. Like, to be honest, I think 2 seasons is probably a bit too short. But then that being said, I don't know if they ever did a 3rd season's, like what I'm not sure what you'd do with that, with a 3rd season of Arcane, because like unless you're gonna do things like bring Jinx back, which cool, but at the same time, no, leave that a mystery. It's better to leave that as a mystery. So unless you're gonna just keep bringing people back from the dead, which yeah, I don't know. Maybe 2 seasons is exactly right. Now I'm thinking about it, maybe 2 seasons is exactly just what it needed, and then just stop, and then do a bunch of spin-offs if they can. So yeah, it's fine.
No,
2 seasons is fine.
no. I really think they could have pushed for 3, and that way they fleshed out a little bit more of like what's happening to Vicktor. Is Vicktor like surviving more than just his little, what is that, eating rat, rodent, lizard thing? Like, how did he fix his leg? More time in alternate universe Ekko, more time with Vander becoming more Vander than just Warwick.
Mm.
Um, more time exploring Ambessa and her, uh, what's that called? Like her hidden agenda, more time with the Black Rose. I think we could have really fleshed out some more ideas and really played longer and given it the time to shine than what we got.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Because like the first like season 2 could have been like half of everything that we had, but at the end of season 2, we fully fleshed out the Black Rose, and then that's where Mel gets her powers, and then that's that. But then we finally see like um the war coming to Vicktor. So then Vicktor would have been season 3.
Mm. Yeah,
You
okay,
don't think
no,
so?
that's fair. But I guess what I was really thinking about is sort of Vi and Jinx. But I guess because if there was a season 3, I don't think it'd be a good idea to bring Jinx back. But I guess you could do,
Oh,
I, or Vander for that matter. I feel like their story's done. But I guess you could do
oh my
something like
God.
with Vi as like her maybe coming to some kind of reconciliation and maybe seeking revenge of sorts on Singe. And maybe that's how that kind of resolves. Like she kind of goes off to Singe for what he did with Vander and how it resulted in her losing both Vander and both Vander and Jinx. And I guess Caitlyn, I don't know what Caitlyn be doing, just consoling her. Now that's lame. Caitlyn's got a bigger
No,
role
but
than
she's
that. What
still a
can Caitlyn do?
counselor. She's still a counselor. She could still be fighting.
Hmm.
Like,
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know. But the whole thing with Vander being Warwick, I was so disappointed at that. Like, did you really have to bring him back? I think that was just a little gratuitous.
yeah.
Oh, here's something that we didn't
How many
talk
times is
about.
this guy gonna
Like,
die?
yeah, right. Like, we didn't talk about the flashback of Violet and Powder's mom. Like,
Oh
they showed the
yes,
mom.
yeah.
That was a bit random,
Yeah,
you
in
know?
the bar,
Mm-hmm.
in Vander's bar, and he swaps the drinks around when she says she's pregnant. Yeah, back when he's still friends
Mm.
with Silco.
Okay. I
Yeah,
always
and that
liked the
was
name Violet.
what's the
Then why did we get the name Powder?
they
Gunpowder.
don't do they mention their father though? Because I'm not sure they
Yeah,
do. Like, what do they
yeah.
do?
He's just a random guy. Like he's
Which
no
guy?
one special. He literally is just a random guy.
Well, that sucks because it kind of feels like the way they do it, and I don't think this is the case, but it does feel at times the way they
Hmm.
do it is that there's a somewhat of suggestion that Vanda was a little bit too familiar with their mum. You know what I mean? like, they
No, he loved her. Both Silco and Vander loved her, but she fell for someone else. That was part of their arc.
oh,
You have to
okay.
rewatch it.
I see.
That's
I
why
see. That's
they
probably
took
what I was getting
in
at.
the
That's probably what I
girls.
was getting at me.
That's
I
right.
see. And then Vanda ends up being their dad after all. Kinda.
Yes. Yes.
Come on, he's your dad too. Uh,
Dude, that broke me. That made me so sad.
hmm.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Ugh.
oh, oh, oh. That part literally made me, uh, what is that? Tear up. I was so sad.
Mm.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's when Jinx went to find Vi and to tell him what happened to Vanda. And she was like, "No, you're lying. It's like, "No, I wouldn't lie about this." And had to convince her to come along, and then she did. And then they get into a little tussle, but then she realizes that that wolf man is Vanda. You know, Lobo Hombre is Vanda.
Surprise! It's me, Vanda.
Yeah,
Not really.
that was a moment though. That was a moment.
Oh, for sure. I think we've covered a lot. Is there anything else we want?
I've got some notes that I'm just going through, and I think I've talked about everything on these notes. Well, we've talked about everything on these notes. I should say, really, not just me. But being a little bit selfish in my old age. My bad. Sorry. We've talked about everything on these notes. Like the spin-offs, the technology, or the hex tech, Ambessa. Yeah, I think we've covered just about everything. Unless there's is there anything else that comes to mind? Any last words? Any final thoughts on Arcane? Arcane season 1, 2, League of Legends, the whole thing.
Oh, Ekko, GOAT. Ekko was amazing, and the whole Z Drive, amazing. Very happy. Very sad for alternate reality powder, but Ekko goated. Like as soon as he saved everyone at the end, I was like, my God, that was the sequence of a lifetime. Like I've never felt adrenaline so like excited for Ekko. I hate playing against him. If they're a good Ekko player, he is painful to fight against.
Yeah, Ekko
But
is
yeah.
definitely. I guess I don't if underrated hero is the right way to describe it, but yeah, no, he definitely he come up good. He come up good. Like I say, he doesn't necessarily have a big role in the grand scheme of things, but for what he does do in the time that he has, he comes up good. Comes up real good. Especially that episode when they go to the alternate reality and you see him with Powder and how he reacts to when he sees her and she's all confused. And in that world, Vi died, and they got the Muriel for Vi, and that whole thing. And then, they could have been, Ekko and Pally found out that they could have been, they could have been a little something in that universe. But yeah,
they are. Because like when they kiss, he pulls away and she's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And he's like, "No, it's just treat it like my first time." That's why the title of that episode is "Treat It Like My First Time," because
so
it
they
is
could
his
have had a
first
thing.
time getting. Yeah, they legit have a
They
thing.
had their moment. They had their moment. I guess they we don't know if it could have been more than just a moment, but they had their moment. But of course, like Sweet Bunny was saying earlier, like he has to go back to his own world, and he's got a responsibility. He's got something he's got to do, and can't leave it alone. So off. But I guess
Yeah,
I
he's
guess
that
the
hero.
Ekko of that world, stays with Powder. I assume. Hopefully they have that version of Powder and Ekko have a happy life. But I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know, sadly. But I thought it was really sweet. I didn't like the music with it. It felt really weird. Maybe that's just me and my American like teen bopper wishing like, oh yeah, it needs to be a fun upbeat song. But it was just like a weird, I don't even know what to call that type of music. I didn't like that. Like them dancing, it was like do 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 do. I was like, ugh, what is this? What is this? It did not match, like, did not match for me. So
Okay.
very
I'm not sure I
much.
remember the music specifically in that scene, to be honest. But yeah, maybe I'll check it again. So it. But Yeah. Oof. Ekko.
Yeah.
I guess his name is very appropriate though. Now that he's got the Z drive, you know, he can be that Ekko literally, that time Ekko. So yeah, he's got a very
Yeah,
appropriate
he's been
name.
a champion. He's been a champion before Arcane came out.
Does he
So
have the Z drive in the game?
yes, absolutely. That is his whole thing. Like his whole
Okay.
thing is to be able to rewind time. So him doing his ult, if he screams like rocket flare, and then he goes back like 10 seconds instead of 4 seconds. So um yeah, he says
So if
like
he's
don't
about to
blink, and
die,
then he like
he could just reverse time real quick.
absolutely. Absolutely. You have no idea how excited I got when he like found that out. When he actually got his C drive to become the character that he is. Um, and I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting that he developed it with Heimerdinger. That is part of his lore. And it was like, oh my God, that's so fun. It's interesting to see how it was created. And then it stopped like Vicktor, like, oh, it's gonna be possible. But it's possible now, bitch. And like, it was just like, oh no, if he goes too far back in time, what's gonna happen? I was so scared. My adrenaline was
Wow.
pumping. But yeah,
Jaime
Ekko,
Digger.
he's the boy who broke time or something like that. Like his whole thing was about time and like changing his time because he has like a dash attack where he's like going forward in time, he slows time, and then he reverses time.
Mm,
Ta-da!
wow. Wow.
But
I guess
Ekko
I
is
better
a
get
real
past this.
champion.
I better get
Yeah.
past this beginner stage then. Players Ekko and
You want to know
Ambessa.
something else? You know what?
What
I
was it?
something else. Heimerdinger. I told you I'm a Heimerdinger main. So the scene where
Okay,
he's
yeah, yeah.
blowing bubbles, like with his little turret, that's one of Heimerdinger's things is to be able to have turrets, and so it's really cute. I play as Heimerdinger, so.
So he blows bubbles out of his turret. What was that?
No, his turret, that blue bubble, is one of his turrets that he uses in the game.
Okay.
So the turret
Uh
that was featured in the game, that blue bubble. No, that is the legit turret that he uses in the League of Legends game. But it does not shoot bubbles. It shoots bullets and
oh,
such.
okay. Okay. I got confused for a second.
And then no, no,
Like
no,
shooting bubbles, like right.
no. I can't think of
um
him. Oh,
uh so he's about to say something?
no. I'm just like, okay. So the characters that are actually in the game League of Legends from Arcane are Jinx, Vi, Caitlyn, Jayce, Vicktor, Finge, Warwick, or Vander, quote unquote. Oriana, the most minor character, but she's in it. Uh, let's see, who else? Ekko and Heimerdinger. I can't think if there's anyone else. Oh, and Mel and Ambessa and Zed and LeBlanc
But you said
and
Ambessa was
Flame.
a new character though, right? For the game, is that right? You say Ambessa was quite new?
But, yeah, she is new, but she's in the game.
Oh, and was she in the game before Arcane? Uh,
No,
or she's in the game after Arcane? Okay.
yeah, they released Ambessa semi simultaneously. Like after she made an appearance on Arcade, like they brought her to the game. So, yay! It was pretty exciting.
Okay. All right then.
That's about it.
But yeah, no, I think that might be a good place to wind down, unless anything else you'd like to add before we end today?
That sidekick to Ambessa, he should have got more screen time. He was cool.
Wait, which sidekick?
The big mustache guy.
Big mustache guy.
The one with Ambessa, he has like a little top fade, big mustache. No,
Oh, the big
he was
musty
cool.
dude with the
Yeah.
he's got like a axe or something, and the beard. Yeah, the beard. I mean, if,
Yeah, he could have had a little bit
I mean,
more
I guess he
time.
had a mustache as well, but I mean, the beard was more beard, man. It was the mustaches are cool, but mustaches on their own are like, mustaches only cool, but a beard on their own, or a beard and a mustache is like, yeah, now we're talking. But it's like, you know, okay, I'm not making any sense. But anyway, the beard is more prominent, is what I'm saying. The beard is the real feature. The mustache, yeah, that's there. But the beard, come on, it's a beard.
All right. That's
But
it.
yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add to this whole topic?
Let's see. Well, beards are cool. That's
Not that
I
one.
want to say
Arcane.
that.
What
Mustaches
is your
are
rating out
cool,
of
but
5?
only when with beards. What I want to add? Let's see. Oof. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think I've said everything I wanted to say, but I mean, yeah, just the show was great. You know, visually, audio, story. You guys were saying that you had issues with the pacing, and yeah, I guess I could see that. I don't know if I had an issue with it myself personally, but you know, yeah, like I say, some of it was confusing, so I can see that, and certainly, you know, like I said before, like just in general, not necessarily understanding it on the first time watching, but just knowing that I enjoyed it without not necessarily understanding it. So yeah, maybe that made the pacing played a part in that as well. In fact, it probably did. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great show. I think it's definitely worth watching. Worth watching twice, maybe even 3 times. Why not? But yeah, that's my view. I'm looking forward to the spin-off, see what they do with that. Try and make some time for this the game this week, so I can finally get past the beginner hold my hand levels. After however many years I stopped first down this game. What server
are you on?
I don't know.
Make one on North America. I'll play with you.
All right, cool. Let me write that down. Is that what it's called, North America?
Yeah, NA server. The NA server.
NA server. Yeah. Do I have to start again if I mean, to be honest, it's not like I've done much. I guess it
you might
really
have hit this restart.
All right, okay. I haven't really done that much anyway, so I guess it's not a big deal. All right, NA server. I look for NA server. I guess I have to find how to change the servers.
You can just make a new account.
Oh, I'm gonna make a new account.
You can make a new account on North America server.
So I can't use my own login.
I don't think so. Because I have 2 accounts. I have one for EU West, and then I have one on North America. But my main one is on North America.
Okay. I know worries. I'll try. I'll make a second account, or I don't know. Man, I guess I can look online, see if I can use my own account if there's the way. But if not, then yeah, make a second account.
I think you have to pay
for a second account.
No, to change your region location.
Oh, okay. So you can do it, but you gotta give up some money. All right, I see. Oh, these bosses always know how to like just take money out of you, don't they? Like anyway, it's no big deal.
So the question is, what do you give it out of 5?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really like to give ratings like that because it does feel a bit arbitrary to me. I mean, what I consider a 5 out of 5, somebody else might consider a 1 out of 5, you know, that kind of thing. So I would say I don't know if I'd give it a score specifically. I'll just say that I really liked it. I had very few issues with it, and I think the issues I had were relatively minor. I mean, if the issues I had was that I was confused and I had to watch it again, I'm not. I wouldn't. I don't know if I could knock it down for that, because a lot of shows. I mean, you know what I mean? You want to watch them multiple times where you enjoy them anyway, right? So I don't know if I can say that's a bad thing. That's just maybe me being stupid thing. That's something to do with the show, right? So I don't feel like I can knock it down on anything bad. Like, of course there's gonna be things that maybe like there's always something you can do different, right? There's always different avenues you can take, and maybe have the characters say different things, or make a joke here and not make a joke. There's always gonna be things you could do differently, but in the end, I think they made a show that was fantastic, that that had depth to it, that had great development with the characters. I think every character shined, whether they were a main character or not, and that's a rare thing, I think, in shows, right? Where even the characters that get barely any screen time, they got their chances, they got their moments, and they got their levels of importance in the story. That's a rare thing in any kind of production. So I think they pulled off something really fantastic. And I'll give it that out of 5. Out of 5, they pulled off a really fantastic show out of 5. So yeah, that's what I'll give that for what that means. How about yourself?
Okay.
Would you want to give it a rating, or would you rather be like, nah, it's art?
Mine
It's
is
art.
3.5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
3.5 out of 5.
Oh, 3.5. So I missed the 3 bit. 3.5. Okay, that was lower than what Bundy said. So what's the missing 1.5?
Okay, so pacing's the number one, because I just don't understand the time frame of reference. Like that is what that always bothers me. Also, like the changing in art animation styles really wasn't up to my like idea. Also, the weird kind of like, oh, let's throw a random music video here. Oh, let's do this here. Oh, let's do this here. It felt really incohesive in so many parts. Um, the several storylines, I think we could have like minimized a little bit. It had a lot going on. So we had Mel's storyline, we had Jayce Vicktor's storyline. That's already technically three storylines right there, because Jayce goes off on his own storyline at a certain point, then Vicktor has his own storyline. So that separates, right? That's three.
Mm,
Then we still have the main sisters, which is Kate and Powder, not Kate, Vi and Powder. So that's two more. But now, what's her name? Powder's splits even more because of Isha. So Isha splits it. So now we have approximately six different storylines happening. It's like, yeah, it's written nicely, but then you have the added complexity of Ambessa, who's also working with Singe, who's also trying to
mm,
do something with Mel. So it's just like, dude, you're doing too much and too little with this time problem. And it's like you're wasting time by having this music video. And it's like, was that, you know, I don't have a problem, but also it's not the best use of time when you only have 10 episodes. This thing already cost 250 million, and it's like you really didn't want to try to stretch it to be more than 10 episodes. Like you could have. They
mm,
definitely could have. And I would have been more appreciative if they had like B-roll to fill those gaps so we understood like uh Victor's encampment more, or the intricacies of like Mel trying to learn her magic. Because it's just like,
mm,
oh, you just automatically know how to shield someone now? Is that how it is? Like, you don't know, like, you just got your powers. You already can just like turn it off and on like a light switch. That's not fair. Like, we really could have spread it out just a little bit longer. And it didn't have to be like to 50 episodes. I'm thinking like a comfortable 20. Like, that I would have been like, okay, that was a comfortable season 2. This one felt rushed. It had a little bit too much. And that's why it's like a 3.5. It pretty? Some point. But the character relationships that we did get to see and then that did get the flourish, I think we're worth the 3 points.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I think yeah, I mean 20, I don't know about 20 episodes though. Maybe I think that 15, 12 to 15,
Oh
20
yeah.
episodes. I don't know, that might be a bit much. That might be that you might be dragging it a little bit, I think, at that point. But 12 to 15 might have been like, especially with some of the pacing and some of the time skips and like say some of the developments and things like that, or some of the story bits and things like that. Yeah, I think 12 to 15 might have done it, but yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So Bundy
Yeah.
gave it a 4. You gave it a 3.5. And I'm giving it was a pretty good show out of 5. A pretty good show. Make time to watch it twice. But yeah, I think that's gonna be where we end today then. So it's been a while. I've forgotten how I end these things. Damn. Help me out. How do I end these things? What am I supposed to say again?
You're supposed to say, well, this was just our thoughts and opinions. Let us know in the comments down below what you all think.
That was it.
Have
Yeah,
you watched the show or not? Is that helping?
that was it.
Coming back to you.
Appreciate you, Sal.
And
Appreciate you.
remember, and then whenever, peace. Remember? You do that? No? Yes, no?
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, till whenever. Till whenever, if ever. No, I do say that. Awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
that's when
cool. I think I got it now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's gonna be where we end this podcast today. Hopefully, back in the not too distant future with another episode talking about another show, movie, or game, or just some other cool subject. But yeah, let us know in the comments of anything you want to hear us talk about. Let us know in the comments what you think of Arcane season 1, season 2, League of Legends in general. Do you agree with Sweet Bundy's 4 out of 5? Do you agree with Celeste Orchid's 3.5 out of 5? Do you agree with my it's a fantastic show out of 5? Or do you have some other opinion on the show? Drop it in the comments and hit us up on the Twitters and what's it called, the Instagrams and all those things, that stuff. But yeah, that's going to be all for now. So guys, thank you for watching and or listening. And until whenever, if ever, peace. We got there.
Yay! You did it!